stuff going on.
I know. Feels like
What's up, brother?
feels like it's been a long time,
I feel like it's been a long time too.
and it's been 2 weeks?
2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of microphone close to your face. You got to be kissing this thing.
Really?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Shut the hell up.
I'm dead serious, dude.
Yeah,
Ready to pick up.
It's gotta feel that close.
It's got to be pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel like I'm eating it.
Oh yeah, bring it, dude. Bring it up nice and. I should have talked to you before we even started.
Prepped me a little bit on this new setup here.
Yeah.
Trying new mics.
I should have done that. Yeah.
No, it's all good. If it can't pick me up like this, then you bought the wrong mics.
I think it can, but you can always adjust it. Super fine tune.
Okay.
I tried to bring mine like you can either do the hanging thing, you can do the close thing.
Right.
It's up to you.
Doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I wanted to start off, I didn't really have an agenda once again, but we can always jump into those questions like we mentioned last time. But dude, last podcast with Chris.
Yeah.
The first virtual one, I'm kind of glad it happened because in real time, like my headphones are like reverberating like insane. So for context, I'm like, preparing for the podcast. I think I'm going to do it live, but it's done virtual. And I'm like, with an hour left or something, I'm like, yeah, I can do this virtual, or however many hours, maybe it's 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's easy. That's probably way easier than doing it like this. Nope. It was crazy. So like my headphones, so I had to do the headphone thing, and that had to be hooked up to the microphones, but basically
You getting like feedback?
horrible. It was
Right.
just like my own voice, his
Right.
voice, womp 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 the whole time with different things. It was like being being on really bad drugs or something, it's like this is happening right now.
Yes.
I don't know what to do. I can't even have the conversation with them.
Like knowing you well, and obviously knowing that how much you brought it up live during the moment where you're like,
There's something going on.
I knew. I was like, if it was like marginal, he would just roll with it. Like he's a champ. He can roll with the punches. But when you're like, dude, I don't know how this is going to work because I really can't hear you. And fortunately, Chris, he is a talker. He's a good dude. He's extroverted as hell.
Yeah.
And it was so interesting because it started off weird. I'll say that because
It was
like a one man show, and then you can't even hear anything. And then, so initially I was like, and I had set you up for that, right? So once again, some
It's good, dude.
transparency and
It's good, it's good, it's
context. Yeah, I had to cancel last second because of personal things going on. So you had to get a pinch hitter in Chris Dove, which is not a bad thing because the dude's, he's more famous than us easily. And actually, just to go on a little tangent there, the whole time I'm watching it, and he's talking about Align, and he talked about Aligned a lot, right? Because of that experience that he had when I got recruited by Aligned, and they, 2 weeks in, they flew me out to Texas to because that's where the HQ's at, and meet the whole team and everybody, and I met Katie Jones, who was like the HR, they were so small a company. She was like one man show. So Katie Jones, awesome individual. One of the reasons why I was sold at Align because of her personality and how much she loved Align, and is still there to this day. Like I think she will never leave that company. Like that's how true she is to the company. But when I met her, she said, "Hey, have you heard a guy named Chris Dove?" And I was like, yes, because I met him through Facebook, and the Navy Nuke Job Finder, and I'd seen him on there like so active and being a heavy participant and an admin to some degree. And I was like, yeah, I know Chris Dove. She's like, yeah, we're trying to get him. And I was like, you need to do everything you can to get him because the dude's a rock star. He's got a huge network. If we're trying to hire awesome people, he's an easy button on that. And so yeah, when he joined, like me and him, we were there pretty much the same time in our career. Like, he came a little bit after me, and then he left a little bit after me. And so, yeah, just to talk a little praise on Chris Dove.
Wow.
Awesome dude. But, yeah, coming back now to your podcast, dude, way to roll with it, man. Me, I would have been like,
we're describing this.
Yeah, just like,
Dude,
hey, we'll try again tomorrow.
I think the consistency, it's like any habit, is like the consistency is probably more important than the performance. It's like showing up type of thing. So I think I want to try to do this every single week, at least once a week, no matter what.
I can tell your commitment to it because me, I'm like, the conversations we've had where you're like, hey, are you cool with me doing it solo? Are you cool with me like, I was like, is this guy going to do it like daily? Like, which would be awesome, you know, like.
I still, the daily format or the single, because I asked myself last night, I was like, okay, what if in the morning, you know, it doesn't work out because it's 5:30, you know, I was like, maybe I'll just like do a single cam. I'll have to figure that out and try to figure out a format for that too. But yeah, man. Thinking, so for Chris, dude, I have to say, the guy, he mentioned 30,000 followers or something.
Yeah.
The only reason I bring that up is because I'm asking LinkedIn, does anybody want a platform to chat about anything? And I reached out a little bit, and this is not a slam on anybody or whatever, but I think it's a little frightening to get on camera and just be yourself and talk about whatever. And then on the flip side is like, you know, it's funny to me, the guy who, I don't know how busy he is nowadays. He was talking to, well, he's running his own thing, but it's just kind of shocked me that everybody that would be available, it'd be the guy who I perceive to be like the busiest person, you know? And that kind of blew my mind that somebody else wasn't like, you know, wanting to jump on or able to jump on. But it's not like, maybe that's hubris or something, because like maybe that's me thinking like, oh, this is like an opportunity to jump into some dude's basement and talk, you know?
Yeah.
But really, there was one other person who wanted to talk about their perspective of the industry from a recruiting standpoint. But it just, it speaks to Chris's character that he's definitely raw and real. He was not afraid to talk openly. Yeah. He wasn't used to the unscripted thing. Usually he's had some kind of script to go by.
Most people do.
But yeah, dude, I was very grateful that he was willing to jump, dude.
Yeah. And, you know, just, my input on like watching it, you know, being on the sideline, if you will, for that one. But, so, you know, I loved it. Because like I said, it started out rough. I like the whole time, obviously, you know, the empathy of like, damn, I feel sorry because I know how much pressure you put because you're owning the production, right? Like for everybody here, right? No. 3 episodes in, like this guy, everything is his setup, you know? Yeah. And you know, once again, one man band, but the episode was phenomenal. Like just the stories and once again, it's just raw, but it's real. There's life lessons in there. You know, you guys talking about coaching and people making an impact. And then he's going into stories that he's proud of where he's caught a pedophile. And I'm like, holy crap. Like I thought I knew him and I didn't.
That was cool.
Dude, like, moment of pause. Like when you think you know somebody and then you hear some story live on your podcast, right? Like your forum created that space for him to feel safe and also share something, right? And I know he's like, well, testament to his character because he's like, I don't care if people judge me. I'm not insecure. I'm very confident, right? Like, once again, world-class human being where he's like, you know, I can break a fart and not care if somebody goes, who did that? Yeah, it was me, right? Like, that's the kind of like genuine human being where it's like, I'm human. And for him to share those kind of things, but for you to have the mechanism to do that.
That's cool.
That is kudos to you, man.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah.
Well, I got to know Chris Dove better. I consider him a friend. Like even after I left the line before him, like we kept in touch and we would call and he'd tell me what's going on in the line and I'd tell him what's going on with my life. And so, like Chris Dove, a good friend of mine, but I got to know him better because of your podcast.
Yeah. And even, you know, so off camera. So afterwards we were kind of rehashing it and like, oh, well, that was crazy, you know, but I was like, dang, if only we could have had this conversation on camera. And maybe next time the setup will be even more. But yeah, sometimes I think it brings out. Obviously, it's not like the rawest version of you, or like. But there is like a reminder in your mind of like, okay, I'm comfortable, B, able to send a message to the world. Like, what do I want to say? And you know, in that moment, he's like, I'm going to talk about, you know, this experience. I think that was cool as hell.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
and it goes back to what you said too, where it's like, you think not necessarily like everybody would be jumping at the opportunity, like you said, but just a matter of like very minimal, right? That people aren't comfortable enough to put themselves in a position of vulnerability, even just being live and recorded,
Too much is at stake, for them in their mind.
And I mean, once again, that's one of the reasons why on LinkedIn, a lot of times I do videos intentionally, because nobody else does. Yeah. And it's the same thing at work. I don't know if for you, when you have like big team meetings on, Zoom or whatever, video conferencing thing, that nobody puts their camera on.
Yeah.
And I see that universally. And sometimes all it takes is one person to put their camera on, and then somebody else does it, and then somebody else does it. Maybe not everybody, but I wish people kind of take that step to be
a little more open and vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was here my boss knew I was going to be here during like business hours at some point a week or two ago. And she was on camera, and I was like, I guess I'm going on camera too, even though I'm like in my basement, I'm in a hoodie, like I am now.
Right.
I think people, I don't know, man. Yeah. I got to tell you what, man, I guess like we didn't talk about, I don't think I need to rack my brain about what we didn't talk about. Because I think if we just talk naturally, we'll just talk about stuff we didn't talk about last time, because we don't want to talk about
You talking about our stuff, episode 1?
Yeah, but the one, man.
Like there's some meat left on the bone that you're like still pondering?
Of course there is. No, not from episode 1.
Oh, okay.
But just like, I was like,
reflection?
What if we repeat ourselves? And I'm like, I don't even think we have to worry about that, dude.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So the camera thing, I think, and I don't blame anybody for this, but people put up a big like line. It's a boundary between like how much they're willing to give to work, and they'll draw strange boundaries. Like maybe the camera thing is one of them, to be like, I'm not going to go on camera. I don't want to go on camera. And some days I get it. Like, you're just like, I'm not doing this today, but the boundaries people decide to draw, some of them are healthy, maybe, but sometimes I think people draw lines that make them think that it'll make their life easier in the short term at work or even long term. But in reality, it'd probably be easier if you just like were yourself.
Yeah.
I know a lot of successful people at our company are just kind of like raw themselves. You'll see like people like, dressing how they want, being called what they want, customizing their profile, whatever, being themselves. And some of those people, they're very visible and they'll thrive in their role. I think there's really something to just practicing being yourself as much as possible in order to not have to put on some kind of filter, which I think drains more energy than anything, man, over time. I
think so.
I think it's a killer.
Yeah, I think it's those walls that you have to like maintain or keep rebuilding, that it is. That's why like I almost wanted to challenge you a minute ago when you're like, oh, for whatever reason they don't want to. And I'm like, well, that sounds like BS. It sounds like an excuse to,
For some people, yeah.
Right.
You never know, but yeah, it's like the boundaries are good. I can't blame you for drawing up a single boundary, but how much energy are you using? How much energy are you using putting up walls and taking them down over and over and over again? I think that's like an unwritten or unspoken thing that's like a killer, man.
Yeah.
And I will repeat myself from last time. I think like the practice of being yourself, regardless of where you're at, is a great thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, man, the lack of given F's or whatever you want to call it is a good thing to practice, man, over time.
Yeah.
Because otherwise the energy drain will kill you, dude. It'll make you a zombie. It'll make you a shell inside. And I, like myself, in previous instances, I wonder how many people don't really have anything to say because they're too busy grinding like, because this is an entitled place to be, how many people are just so busy grinding that they don't have the ability to breathe, man. And we touched on people struggling in general.
Right.
But, man, I just know there are a lot of people just barely making it, or feeling like they're just drowning, dude.
Or not doing enough. I mean, it's all the self-criticism, the self-doubt, the negative talk. I'm just thinking about I mean, once again, going into a deep subject of just like mentality and like self-worth. But what you said about like repeating stuff, if we repeat it, dude, that's a good thing. To me, when you are repeating the same message over and over again, that means it's probably genuine. It's probably meaningful. It means something to you, and it's worth repeating. Because that is something else too, just on a tangent, that when I did my my podcast, Motivation in a Mini, and I did like 60 episodes, and the whole time I'm like making every episode, and I'm like, not saying like, oh, what, how am I going to be clever, or, every episode's got to be a standalone. And
you're trying to be a little unique.
Right.
Though.
And after 60 episodes, yeah, some things are going to repeat in conversation. And same thing, like in the mindset early on, I was like, oh, I don't want to repeat things because, that's no value add. And you just, you sound like a parrot now. So, but I think it's also okay to kind of talk about things that matter, like having a positive mindset, being optimistic, being, creating the space for yourself to be vulnerable, inviting that opportunity to fail or look dumb. I said this to somebody this past weekend, and that person being my wife, because we were having some serious conversations about some life-changing events for us. And, it was difficult conversations, but it was kind of one of those, you can't have a positive life with a negative mindset, and it's true. It's an anchor. Like you said, it's draining, it's taxing. It's, the slow IV drip of poison, if you will, that for some people is what puts them one foot in the grave sooner than others. Or, you get to the end of it and you're like, was it worth it? Because I didn't live my fullest life. I didn't enjoy every moment. For me, right, like I was sick all last week. Yesterday when you messaged me, I was just starting to get better. Like I got better, then I got worse. And then you messaged me and I was like, I got to get up early. I got to get up early. I got to go to bed early, but I didn't really go to bed early. So I was like, I'm not going to get enough sleep. This is going to be rough.
Oh, man.
By the end of the day, I'm probably going to be like wanting to crash out at 5 or take a freaking nap at noon or something. Yeah. But letting all the excuses, all the doubt, all the reasons to play it safe, be comfortable, tell you, hey, sorry, Craig, again, I can't make it, right? And it's not the end of the world. Right? Yeah. That we don't do this. And I don't get up 3 hours early or whatever to drive up here. But I'm like, what do I want in life? I want these experiences.
Yeah.
That first episode we did was phenomenal. Like I told you, when I went on that walk and I listened to it again, just doing a walk and just listening to the audio itself, I was like, these two guys are people I want to know and I want to hear more often. So like anytime I ever listened to my own personal podcast when I did it like 5 years ago, I would be so critical of myself. And I was like, I don't know if anybody wants to listen to me. I was like, at times I'm like, I don't want to listen to this guy. I can't tell if he sounds like whiny or preachy, but come full circle, you and me in that first podcast where we're just like, hey, let's just jump, you know, head deep into this. Yeah. And it was awesome, dude.
I can't tell you how many times I left our breakfasts just feeling on fire.
Dude.
And for moments, it's just a moment. I don't think too deeply about it, but it's something about the early hours of the morning, not owing anything to anybody other than each other. It's like the universe disappears and you and I are able to escape from life for just a moment to think about it and to look into it and like really frame it. And that's, I would say that's part of the name of the podcast, but it's not. That was some AI stuff, but I liked this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're able to just be like, man, this life thing. It's like putting everything on pause and just being able to really take an honest look at everything. I think that's a gift that not everybody gets. And yeah, the fact that we can give it to each other, dude, we've been doing that for a minute. So it's good shit.
It is. And I think that's where, like, once again, episode 1, and we're like, what is this going to be? And how's it going to go? You know, we're really just recording our, fireside morning Anita's chat, but it was phenomenal. And so for me, yeah, it was like with all those human, natural, mental things of, I'm tired, I'm not well, should I go there? Is it worth it? But instantly it was like, when there's no, if there's any doubt, there is no doubt, to the point of, yeah, you're doing this because this experience, this opportunity, once again, like we said, if we did one episode and that was it, that would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
And here you are 3 episodes in, and I'm like, this is a joy. But like you said too, like to be able to kind of just pump the brakes for a little bit, create the space, even though we can say like we're busy, we have so much going on, and then especially if family, kids, obligations, work, right? Like the list can go on and on and on, self-care, working out, eating right, and you have to, I think we have to advocate, I think in this moment, because we're talking about it, be very intentional about taking a tactical pause. Because I know what you're saying, like, it can feel like a luxury that you can, but I think everybody needs to do it. It's necessary no matter how busy you are, how deep into the shit you are, that you're like, I can't stop, because if I do, I'm going to let somebody down or let myself down. Right. That you still need to pause, be present in the moment, because that's what it is, right? It's being present in the moment when you don't think about what led up to it or what's going to be waiting for you afterwards. So when we get together, it is you and I in the moment being present. Yeah. 100%. And I don't know if you've ever read The Power of Now by
Eckhart Tolle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And once again, Chris Letier, we bring him up again, episode 3. He's the one, when I was at Coresight, he handed me the book and said, read this.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, okay. And I remember listening to it and being like, all right.
This is some hippie stuff.
It's very hippie stuff, but
yeah,
it's real. It's true.
Yeah.
There's no moment that's more genuine than the one you're in the moment. Like,
I need to listen to this again. Dude, all I want to talk about is, I'll just say it.
Yeah.
Even though some people probably hear this and are like, oh, it's one of those things. David Goggins waking up every morning and he still has a hard time putting his shoes on to go run his run.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I ask myself, I think that's your answer, is I don't think you're ever going to stop facing resistance when it comes to doing what you should do. Because I know that we're going to finish this and feel great about it. And yet, if I had to wake up as early as you did this morning, it'd be a freaking challenge. I'd probably still show up, but it's hard. It's very hard, even with the knowledge that this thing is going to be something that fuels you.
Yep.
What is it about humanity that we can't just be like, oh, that's the path of happiness, just go that way, and that's it, no resistance? Because like every day, there's one of two things must be true. This goes back to your tactical pause. You either don't know what to do next, and I mean, you don't know what the right thing to do is. Like, right. If you find yourself in a shit situation, or like your life is garbage, it could be circumstantial, whatever, but like it's a possibility that you just don't know what you should do. You don't have the knowledge. That's a possibility. Right. The other thing, one of these two things must be true. Either that you don't know what to do, or you know what to do and you're just not doing it. Yeah. One of those two things is true. So right. The tactical pause could help you identify the latter. Yeah. The former. But like for the latter, right. How many times in your life, dude, have you had two choices? And like, we're doing okay. Life is good. But how many times have you had two choices? Nobody else is looking. It's just you. Yep. And you're like, this is the best one. This is the wrong one. I'm just not going to do the best one. Like passively, I'll just not go down the best path. Like how many times do we do that every day or every week or every month or like, and yet we're still doing fine. We're lucky right. In a million ways, yep. Whatever. But like every human I know is like, you have two choices of what to do. And I've thought about this a couple of times, the stories, whatever. But basically, I'd be like, man, it's really quiet on Slack today. Oh, it's like, it's a holiday, or it's the first day after a holiday, or the first day before a holiday. Right. And I'll be like, oh, so this whole thing I'm feeling right now, nobody's going to talk about it. Nobody's going to get on a call and be like, yeah, nobody's feeling it today, But like, but it's the truth.
It is.
In terms of like, people have stuff to do, probably. They're just not doing it, you know, like because of humanity, us being like,
oh yeah,
the two paths are there and we're just going to just passively go down the wrong one. And I say wrong, right, and wrong. Again, that's putting shit in boxes.
No.
you know,
This
like,
is good though, because I think this is real. And
Yeah.
this is worth me turning my head around for, because
Oh,
yes,
the hat.
I do that. Yeah.
Oh.
Have you ever seen Over the Top? Sylvester
Yeah,
Stallone.
dude. Yeah.
Every time.
Dude, I arm wrestled some dude at work. Shout out to Sam Howard. He humbled me hard, dude. I am not in great shape.
I am not an arm wrestler.
Yeah,
and of
yeah.
course in the military, you know, people do stupid shit all the time and you're like, let's arm wrestle. And I'm like, okay, I'm small. 1, 2, everybody else, no, thank you. So
I worked out every day religiously for like a couple years. Maybe I'd skip a day or two, but like it was very consistent. Best shape I've ever been in around my wedding. At least like lifting weights wise.
right.
I arm wrestled this guy named Tim Hall. You know, shout out to Tim Hall. I beat him in an arm wrestle, but he didn't work out at all.
Okay.
Now I had been working out for like 2 years or something, or, you know, like consistently.
Yeah.
Strongest I've ever been for sure, which is a long time ago, which is a shame. But I beat him, and then he gets in the gym for maybe like a month or two, you know, or 3 months or 4 months, and he just whips my ass, you know, like, so yeah, Sam at work, who is, you know, did a lot of like, you know, he grew up in kind of like, you know, farm, like labor intensive environment.
Oh yeah.
So he just whooped me, dude.
Right.
You know, he's got that like, I'll say country boy strength.
I was
you know
about to
what
say
I'm saying?
that. That was exactly what went through my mind right now.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
said he's on a farm. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, over the top.
Over the top. So because right now what you just spoke about, where it's like either you don't know what to do or you know what you need to be doing and you're not. And the way you spoke about it, and I could see it in your face, like just the passion, really the passion, the joy, like, you know, you emoted so much more than when we're talking about other things that are just in generalities, right?
Yeah.
And so to me, it was powerful, like just seeing you kind of almost light up a little bit in regards to talking about it. And two, hell freaking yeah, man. Cause I had that same, so once again, a very interesting weekend I had. Once again, tough, difficult conversation with my wife about like binary moments in our life. Like, where are we going? Fork in the road, left or right. And it really can change the entire trajectory of your life, right? Those kind of conversations.
Mm-hmm.
So very difficult. But in that kind of difficulty and soul searching and realizing which path to take, like you said, when you don't know the path or you know the path you should take, but you're not doing it kind of thing, that like, I want to say like biblical, you know, like, what are you doing? You know, going to heaven or going to hell, right? And sometimes the path to hell can feel like heaven and the path to heaven can feel like hell. And yeah, it was what kept reiterating for me and kind of guiding me through the difficult conversation in my own North Star, right? But I think it should be universal, is do the difficult thing. Don't shy away from it. And I think that is what happens in life, where people, even if you're grinding it out, right? But if you're grinding it out with purpose, if you're putting yourself through hell to get to heaven, right? That's okay, right? Be mindful of that, and be mindful of, you know, I hate that, not my favorite term, but embrace the suck, because I think people sometimes use it in the wrong way just to kind of crack the whip. But it's true. Like, and David Goggins, you know, nobody should ever judge him. I know that sometimes people think he can be very crass and very much like,
Intense.
you know, stop being and get up and do it, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's black and white. There's no need to sugarcoat it, right? You know, and if you've ever read his books, and I've read both of them, it's funny enough, it was one of the first books I gave to Sarah when she was going through a difficult time a couple years ago.
Can't Hurt Me.
Can't Hurt Me. I gave that to her.
Yeah.
And after she read it, she was like, this was great. This was phenomenal.
Cool.
And it was something we were able to connect on, which was fantastic. But yeah, you know, it resonated with, you know, just his life, where he's been, his struggles, when you hear it and you listen to it, but also just doing the damn difficult thing, right?
Why is it that the obstacle is the way? Why is it that the hard thing is the right thing to do? Is it just because it's hard, which means it's challenging, which means it provides an outcome that represents an equal amount of like, I don't know, if something's hard to go through, then the outcome is usually something richer, not dead. You know, like maybe if you live life in zombie mode, the outcome is just going to be zombie outcomes. Maybe that's what it is. What do you think it is, man?
No, it is. You're right. It is. There is something in our DNA, human nature, where it's like we need the obstacle. We need the challenge, right? If you spent like going back to our first episode, why not? If you spent 4 years training for the Olympics, every single day showing up when you didn't want to, eating the bland, boring food that you know is good for you, doing it 3 times a day, repetition, counting your macros, counting your reps, to a just ridiculous, crazy OCD manner. And then 4 years later, after it all, you win gold. How does that feel compared to one day I show up at your door, I'm saying, here's your gold medal, here's your prize money. Hey, here's all the sponsorships that go with it.
Oh,
here's
damn.
the attention. And you're like,
there it is, dude. There's the answer. It's perspective. That's what it is. It's what you touched on earlier. It's that your mentality is going to paint your entire life, because the world, this is the deep stuff, is you hallucinate your reality. Your brain interprets reality. We already know that the world that we see is not the world that actually exists. It's just a perception of it. So you're saying, if somebody handed you the medal, it has no meaning. Whereas if the obstacle, it's going to change you.
Yeah.
It's going to change you. So your openness to the outcome, to the universe, to the muse, to God, to whatever speaks to you that sends you those things in life that you're like, oh, life is rich and beautiful.
Right.
That shit won't even, it'll be speaking to you maybe.
Right.
But you aren't receiving it because you haven't gone through the obstacle.
Yes.
Fair?
Oh, 100%, man. And another just analogy to reinforce the conversation, man, is
bless you, sir. I love talking to you, Rico.
I know, man. It's the trust fund babies too. I've seen that before. People like where I remember seeing a celebrity talk about like when celebrity children, he's like, they are just set up for failure, where it's like, here's the celebrityness, here's the money, right? And those that survive, like the Nepo babies.
Have you seen the movie Anora? Anora.
No.
Damn, dude. If this thing gets
Is that
any
old or new?
traction, girl, that's new.
Okay.
At least like the last 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Trust Fund Baby. You need to watch that.
Actually, I think I might have seen like a.
Oh, you would know if you've seen it.
No, like a little clip, or not a clip. Like the cliff notes of like
the
a
movie has
summary.
no genre.
Okay.
You can't put it in a box, dude. It's so good.
Okay.
It's probably. Let me sit here and just like level myself. It's probably the coolest movie I've seen in the last 6-7 years.
Okay.
And Carrie and I watch too many movies, but that's life spent together. On my deathbed, I'll tell you what I will not regret: snuggling with my wife and watching movies.
Oh, of course.
Even though it's kind of a waste of your life to
It's a nice little
stare at a
escape.
TV.
You know what?
Yeah.
Jim Rohn had some good shit to say about that too.
About TVs?
About movies. He's like, you know what?
Stories?
He's like, I love going to the movies, right? But I want to be moved. When I go to the movies, I want to come away being like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
If I laugh or I cry, he's like, let me moved. He's like, yeah, you can, it's the binge watching like TV shows where it's like ongoing plots, drama. And you're like, what did I get from it? But if you go to a movie and it has impact and you're like, that resonated with me. Yeah. That's good. That's good quality time.
Nora will stick with you.
Nice.
Do not watch this movie with your children. Don't do it. That would be a big mistake.
R rating?
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, heck. Oh, shoot, yeah. Yes. Major R rating, dude. Probably a hard. Big
Probably had to get like
rating, capital
cut
R
down
rating.
a little bit to keep it within an R rating.
No, not quite. I mean, it's just a lot of nudity and a lot of like, it's a lot of raw life. The movie is like comedy, drama.
Oh, okay. You're saying like
so
you got to
cool.
be like adult, emotionally prepared to like digest it.
And the nudity, obviously.
Okay.
But that's like, but it's also very sexual, so it's not just like naked bodies. It's like,
That's America for you though, man.
full of sex.
Like all of Europe, when I was growing up there,
yeah.
you got nudity on TV all the time, like soap commercials and shampoo commercials. And then,
Dude.
And then here it's like, oh, nudity, no.
Hearing about your grandfather, dude. Of course, I
Please.
think I think about this over the last couple weeks since we talked.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I learned about your grandpa. You and I talk about reality as it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what we don't talk about a lot is childhood or formative experiences. Maybe that's me, dude. You know,
I'm mindful of what value add there is to it. Because I think sometimes people, once again, not being present, they either live too much in the past or too much in the future. And I think I over-index, like you said, where I don't talk about my past because I want to be here, you know? And when you're there, you're not here. So I think that's for me, not an excuse, but my logic behind sharing things. Because even this weekend, I was talking to my daughter about something about my mom. And I was just like, damn, I'm really sharing with her some stuff about her Nona, you know, if you will. And I'm like, I don't do that maybe enough because I'm just like in the moment, like today is real and the past is memories, and memories can be fake or memories can be whatever we interpret. That's the other thing I'm also leery about too, just when you talk about like the past, I think our natural default is to remember more good than bad sometimes. Yeah. Or if there's trauma involved, it's the opposite where, you know, all you can think about is the bad. Like, truthfully, because I don't have a good relationship with my dad and I love my mom to death, I remember all the good things she did and all the bad things he did. And the truth is, they both had a lot of good and bad.
Yeah.
And
yeah, dude, we got...
Yeah, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, by the way, like talk about my parents again. Because I was just doing that this weekend and that was tough.
Well, it's not... Honestly, people are still alive.
Yeah, let's reset to what you were talking about with my grandpa, because he was a cool dude. So what did that trigger for you? Or what did you think about? Like, just...
Dude, what it triggered for me is that I was going to say, dude, the obstacle is the way. Like, it seems like the pattern is like, you know, you name something. I'm like, I know the name of the book. You know, I'll spit that into the mic. I know the name.
Yeah.
But what does that matter is like, why do you even need a book? Sometimes the title is like, oh, the obstacle is the way. It's like, oh, I got it. I'll just do that from now on. I don't need a whole bunch of text to tell me that, you know, it's the right answer or that the point is legitimate. I know you did the research.
Right.
I know you got this. I know it didn't sell 1 billion copies because it's full of shit.
Right.
Like, but still, you read the story because the story matters. So my point is, hearing you talk about your childhood, to me, even though you're not present in the moment, you and I, or at least I, am tying it to present day life. It gives it more meaning because, like, it's like, even though I know, just like I should wake up early and do this thing, or I should, you know, finish this task or go down this arduous, you know, more challenging path. As a human, you don't do it. Even though I know you're valid in all your opinions and all your experiences, unless you're on drugs or something, we still live in this like world where it's just like, I am in my head. I can't appreciate how complex your life is and how complex your psychology is and your everything about your consciousness until you do me the favor of spitting out your life experience,
right,
which is all the way from childhood or whatever, because that's like, damn, I'm like, you know, that's the type of stuff that makes me look at you and your kids look at you and go like, oh my God, there's a whole person inside of there that lived a whole life.
That's true.
And it's like that. It's sad that that's what it takes, dude, but it does. It like gives me the ability to like see you
right
in a way that's like, oh damn, I need to listen to what this guy is saying. Because
I mean, it's just like when Chris Dove, you know, shared some stuff in the last episode, and it made my connection to him even stronger. You know, and I was present. I just observed it, right?
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. You know, I mean, shit, man. Obstacle is the way. I love that we keep saying it because it's so true, right? And you know that we choose comfort because right now, you know what? When I was thinking, like, once again, self-reflection in our past, you know, tuition assistance, right, through the military to get your degree. Mm-hmm. You know, it's military sucks, but you get a free degree, right?
What percentage of people?
So
I'm sorry, I'm going to look this up right now.
No, go for it, because I'll keep talking, right? It took me 10 freaking years to get my degree, bro. Mm-hmm. 10 years. And if I could do it, well, not if I could do it, if you took my degree away from me now and I went and started class, it wouldn't take me 10 years. It would take me 3 to get my bachelor's, right? Like full time, like just going at it. And that's because I've grown as a human being. I'm better. Like, and what the better is, and I think it, you know, when we talk about right and wrong and, you know, being open-minded, But I think this is universal, right? Like this is something, if you're going to write down your human 10 commandments, like number one is embracing the discomfort. Like the obstacle is the way. Like don't avoid the hard thing. You know, you cannot. And it goes back to like even just difficult conversations. You know, if something that your significant other or your mom or your dad are doing that bothers you, right? And you want to say something, there's your answer. But we don't, because it could get messy. It could get ugly. People's feelings could be hurt. Nobody wants to hurt somebody's feelings. We talk ourselves out of it and we just eat the feelings, right? And just in that like emotional context, because human interactions are some of the most difficult and challenging, especially with people that you love or care about or grew up with, like, yeah, mom, dad, wife, husband, spouse, brother, sister. And just to complete the thought, right? It's like younger me chose comfort so many more times than I should have just chosen discomfort, you know, and having difficult conversation with my wife or my mom or my dad, or doing the hard thing, like just get your damn degree, stop, you know, bouncing around. Like, and just in that transparency, like tuition assistance, right? You have to get at least a C or else you have to pay for the class. Twice I failed 2 classes because I didn't put in the effort and I had to pay for them. And I remember going to my wife and she's like, what the heck? Yeah. We don't have the money for you to be doing this.
Right.
And then the second time I had to go to her and saying like, hey, we got to pay for it again because I failed again.
I think
because I didn't show up.
I think I did the exact same shit.
And I chose comfort over discomfort.
Yeah. I did the same thing. I was taking I had this neighbor of mine who went to the Colorado School of Mines, and he hadn't looked at whatever course it was because I was going for the
Okay, sorry, you said technology. Colorado School of Mimes?
Mines, M-I-N-E-S.
Okay, mines.
Yeah, it's an engineering school.
Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was like, did he just say mines?
He went to mime school. And I came to the guy, and I was like,
okay,
I really need help with this algebra problem. And he's like, you know, he's saying...
You said it so casually, and I was like, let's just make sure I'm not... Okay,
I just thought the guy I wanted to go to for advice on how to solve math problems is obviously somebody who doesn't talk, you know, because this is all very conceptual stuff. So you don't speak about math, you think about math. So the mime, no. So he comes over to the house and he's like, honestly, dude, I haven't looked at this stuff in a long time. I have no idea how to solve this problem. And I'm like, well, I give up, you know, like that was basically, in hindsight, that was basically what happened. I just like didn't do it. And it was like during a time that I had more time than anything, dude. I'm going to stop. I said objectively, the word objectively, like 6,000 times last podcast.
You said a lot, brother.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
However, whatever. I don't care. I do, obviously, because I'm trying not to say it. At the time, looking in hindsight, at that moment, I basically quit school right then. I had more time than I ever had in my life.
Right.
The Fighty was an awesome hookup for free time.
Oh, geez.
And I just like wasted it away. But it was good because some things were like finding myself.
Yeah.
But should I have finished TA? Duh, free college. So the data, when I was on my phone, not being present with you and staring at my phone while you're pouring your soul out to me, it was the data point that only 40% of people use their VA benefits. And I remember going around in boot camp, one of our RDCs, drill instructors, whatever.
Yep.
One by one, we had the opportunity to be a human for a moment. And they're like, why did you join the Navy?
Mm.
And, you know, you get 2 answers and maybe an outlying one, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But it was to serve my country.
Yep, patriotic.
That's true for some.
Yep.
Some of them were lying.
Of course. I mean, that's what you get fed.
And then the ones who aren't lying is to go to college.
Yep.
That's
over 50% are like, I want to get my...
Way more than 50. Yeah, most people. So how many of them end up using it?
I know.
Not even half.
Dude.
So like, obviously, life is more complex than... is like the teenager version of yourself. Now, this is all circumstantial. The teenager version of yourself that joins the Navy or the military, part of you evolves. You learn discipline. You learn some habits. You learn some skills. But there's a part of your mentality that does not change. And I think a lot of people struggle. I think, not to bag the Chiefs mess, you know, the divorce rate's really high.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I don't really have this one figured out.
Mm-hmm.
Try to remove the signal from the noise. But
Boom.
But like boom, yeah. But there's some part of your mentality that does not grow in the military. There's some part of you get structure without.
Why not?
Well, I don't know, but I think
I do.
Okay, I'll try to figure it out. Give me one.
I don't know pressure, but I've already got the answer.
Yes, because you learn the structure. It's like this. It's like if you pour cement inside of a wooden frame, and you take the frame off before the cement is dry, the cement will pour out onto the ground. The military is a frame for your mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's a frame for you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do not harden yourself and turn yourself into cement or create the structure in your own mind,
yep.
then as soon as those barriers are removed, you will just fall out into the version of who you were before.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing about the military that's going to reach so deep inside of your psyche, unless, obviously like kill, whatever.
Warmonger?
Yeah, but there's a part of you that just does not change. You have to accept change. You have to become the person who changes. Is that kind of what you were going to say? I hope so, because...
A little bit. That is good.
I'm ready to hear it.
There's two parts of the equation, right?
I thought I got it right.
No.
I thought I got it right.
No, you got...
I'm just kidding.
No, you gave half the answer.
Please.
50%. That's great, man. You're batting 500. You go to the Hall of Fame. So, absolutely. One, you have got to be open to it.
Yeah.
So that's self.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, like there's the internal, external inputs, outputs. Like internally, you've got to be open to it, which is difficult, right? Because you're right. Like even up to that 18, 19-year-old, typical Navy, military, like you said, what do I do with my life? Well, I'm going to join the military because I love my country and serve, and I'll figure out a way, which was partly for me, was like discipline, and I don't know the hell I'm doing, so I don't want to waste my time, maybe get some education. I wasn't going for the degree, truthfully, even though that was a good benefit. But it was more like, tons of schooling. Worst case scenario, I'll go work in a nuclear power plant like Homer Simpson, right? Make some money. Not the worst thing in the world to get some free education in that regards, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to be an ET, because they were like, it's the longest schooling. So I'm like, that must be the best then. I want to be an ET. I didn't realize
that's
that.
What I wanted too.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people say I want to be the ET because it's the longest schooling, so it must be better.
I gave some
and
weird...
secretly it is.
And then you get chosen.
Oh.
Did you do an interview with some guy?
Yes, in boot camp. You took a test and an interview.
Yeah.
And I remember they took all of us nukes, like the 8 of us in my, division, and they're like, hey, mechanic, electrician, ET, right? Like going down the line. And me and the other guy, like we had like the lowest like nuke scores out of like the whole group. Like some of those, like when a couple of the mechanics, they like had like hundreds almost, like perfect, like nuke scores.
What the heck is that all about?
I know, man.
I
was like, whew. If they made me mechanic, I would have been like, I just screwed up. Dude. I was so dead set. Like
when I got ET,
if I don't become ET, I don't know what I'm going to do.
I was pumped. However, dude, you know what's crazy? Everybody in boot camp, I remember, well, this is my perspective, obviously, but people wanted to be an ET because they knew that was like, and then I remember being reactor operator and having some people come in to like sit at the panel and control the reactor. And it was like a big deal. Like, oh man, I'm actually standing reactor operator. I'm super nervous.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, that could have easily been me.
I know.
I could have just been the guy who's like doing stuff in the spaces, which was more intimidating to me, obviously, because it's just the other person's job.
And it's more dangerous.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So like, dude, what is that, dude? Because I'd be like, what's your career? I'd be like, well, I flipped a coin or a 3-sided coin.
Yeah.
And here I am. Like that's not the answer, but that's reality. Is there was a certain amount of luck or just like some guy interviewing you for like a minute and a half when you're just like you're taken out of this weird test environment and you're just like like why should you be the answer is not super candid, but yet somehow through that data they're just like, oh, this person is going into this job. What is that, dude?
That's some
I need more coffee.
That's some dice. That's some dice throwing. Yeah, go for it.
Hook me up, dude. Thank you.
You're gonna
bring in the goods, brother.
You're gonna find it interesting.
I
won't tell you ahead of time.
It's your mix, dude.
It is.
It's your mix.
It is the golden mix. It is.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's not black, so be prepared for some sweetness.
Oh,
that's
okay.
But yeah, to come back to what you said, right? Because you like
half a cup.
We get on these tangents all the time, which I love. But one, being open to it.
ASMR.
Answer. For everybody at home, that's probably awesome.
Maybe.
And then, but number 2, right?
Yeah.
On the real part is guys like you and I, right? Like the LPOs, the chiefs, the people in leadership, because one of the things I could not stand, and this is like, you know, I don't, not to divulge anything in the mess, but just that, you know, the leadership group, the mess, right? Which really should be, you know, the senior enlisted folks that are driving the junior folks, right? To be better and obviously do the mission. I saw too often this mentality of like, you know, what's wrong with these kids? What's wrong with these kids? One, I could never stand them saying kids, right? Like they're another adult, right? They're a young adult, but they're an adult. The minute you put somebody in that box of like, you know, you're less than me because I'm the adult and you're the kid. I never could stand when people talked about like referring to junior people as kids.
I hated that. 2,
right.
Yeah.
It was like, oh.
And that's not me being better. Honestly, yeah, please continue. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Please.
Yeah. I was going to say, you cut me off and I got to, if I don't get it out, I'll never get it out.
Okay.
We can cut each other off all the time. I don't mind that. But
yeah.
Chain of thought. So 1, person being accountable for being open-minded. 2, the external source that now says, you know what, I got this young adult into my fold, into my pack, you know, into my charge, right, of responsibility. What am I doing about it? Because too often we go, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And it's like, maybe somebody never just showed them the way. Yeah. When somebody's a jerk, it's because nobody said, hey, stop, you know, like, you know, there's a better way to be instead of being that, right? And not passing judgment and being open-minded to their life experiences. Mom and dad never showed them, you know, their environment, you know, made them rough and coarse. And nobody ever stopped to say like, hey, there's a better way to be.
Guilty.
And I used to do that all the time to like my peers and being like, hey man, you know, why are you being this way towards this person?
And you did that while you were active duty.
Right. And they'd be like, well, you know, they just don't get it and they don't have a good work ethic and they don't care. And it's like, well, why don't they care? Has anybody ever given them reason to care? You know? And so that's the part, like self-reflection as a leader to go, do I even care if this person, if I want to fix this person, do I care about this person?
Dude, that's like the best of you shining through in an environment where it's not really appreciated or seen fully.
Unpopular, for sure.
In the military, yeah.
Because it's very crass, like do as I say, you know, don't think twice, don't question me, and, you know, get on board or get the hell off. And it's like, it's not that simple.
Dude, what do you think about these microphones, dude? I'm stoked on these
I
things.
am. I'm really stoked.
Yeah.
Well, one, in first episode,
the mic disparity,
you could just tell a little bit, right?
Yeah,
and, you know, and you're
I'm
very
soft-spoken.
You're keel, yeah.
Yeah.
Soft spoken, true, but I don't like that word. I don't like the terminology because it feels meager, you know. So to me, I'm just like, you're calm.
I am.
You're very calm.
I'm a little monotone. Yeah.
A little bit. You did better this episode though. I could tell.
Oh, this one?
Yes. Because in Chris Dove episode, still a little monotone.
Oh, of course, man. Somebody text me this early. That's you, dude. Okay. I keep on waiting because I have a couple of single points of failure here.
Is anybody even watching at this early in the morning?
I don't really care.
Nice.
Yeah, but
perfect.
well, I'll check it here eventually.
Yeah.
Dude, I hope somebody is. That'd be cool.
One person?
But we hit 140 for the first episode, apparently. I checked just the other day. You know what's great? I already don't care. I already have not checked. The first day or two,
the metrics,
obsessively was like
refresh.
Oh, give me the internet
stimulus.
Yeah. And I haven't checked in a week or two. To your point, just not talking about mics and all this crap. My father and I were doing a project, and I actually hired outside help off of Craigslist to come to the house. One person, and my dad's not like super guilty of this. I'd say like, shout out to my father in a great way. He's been through a lot. He's a human who's been through a lot. But he's able to take himself out of his own shit and focus on looking at something logically and being like, oh, this is the right answer. So he's not really guilty of this. The whole like children, this generation, what's wrong with these people?
Yeah.
He can say, he can be like that sometimes, but most of the time he can just take a step back and be like, okay, looking at it fairly. But I hire this 50-something-year-old dude. He messages me on Craigslist. He's like, 50-something years old. I have X amount of experience. I'm ready to help you guys with this project.
Yeah, what are you trying to do, by the way? Do you mind me?
Like it was like basically organize a space and maybe some like light electrical stuff You know,
Okay.
like, so I'm basically just looking for,
Handyman type stuff.
yeah, exactly.
A little bit of
You know,
trade.
like
Yeah.
I just could have used an extra set of hands.
Yep.
And he, this guy's like, I'll be there, you know, sends me the pitch. And then like morning of, I ask right before the night of, I'm like, hey, I'm going to take down the ad, or are we good for the start time? He's like, yep, 100%. No call, no shows me, you know? So I'm like downstairs with my dad, and I'm like, your generation, dude, your generation, you know, at least my generation, we might not be able to drive, or you know, we might have like purple hair and stuff, whatever, but at least we show up, or at least we call, at least
Right.
we communicate. You guys just don't know how to talk to each other. You can't communicate, can't even show up. So I'm just like giving them shit. But like that whole like just general stereotyping, it's so convenient, dude. I know a couple, I can think of plenty of people, including people that I led, you know, due to my like positional leadership position in the Navy.
Why'd you have to air quote it?
Because I led them, but I definitely didn't lead them in the direction that I would today.
Okay. I mean, that's a given, man.
Yeah, we got the job done, whatever.
Yeah.
But dude, I don't know what it is. You know, an X factor or something that like identifies me as somebody who should be put in charge of stuff. But especially back then,
You were young.
I was young.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and
at
you
the
were
time-
smart. And so in the Navy, smart means you're a good leader.
Right. And smart, like maybe on emotional intelligence or just some kind of perception of me, but for whatever reason is like, oh,
I'm sure you had a lot of bravado too. When we're young, you know, you can definitely project more than what's real.
right. But I did a poor job leading some people who needed help, who
Right.
needed love and guidance. And the truth is I needed it too. And I didn't have the bandwidth. So the convenience of, oh, this person is shitty, which is so ironic because that's one of the worst parts of my childhood was being called a piece of shit.
Right.
I hated it.
And we get to that conclusion way too quick. And you know why? Because it's easy.
It's easy. It's
so
convenient.
easy.
How many times is
They're just a
somebody-
bad person, right? What the
Yeah.
fuck?
How
What the
many
hell is that, man? What?
How many times? Like, how many times is somebody going to be judged by peers? Like 100 times, 200 times,
Easily.
before one person decides to pull them into a room and like be like, "Hey, man, maybe like I've noticed this pattern," you know, and like talk to them like a human.
Right.
Maybe help them fill that gap. Like maybe they just don't have the awareness. Maybe there's some kind of reason
Yeah.
that we don't have the bandwidth as humans to like pull somebody aside. And I don't want to pull this into like coaching at work, but like, and I'm not trying to expose, if anybody from my work watches this, I'm not trying to expose, this is universally true, is like coaching people is good, dude. And it's like earning trust first and then giving feedback
Yes.
is something that everybody deserves, dude.
Right.
That's what makes me love the people I work with, is like, if I can have a raw and honest conversation with you and be like, here's some, dude, the whole like, are you ready for feedback thing is so valuable, but from a place of love and constructiveness and growing somebody. Yeah. How many times do we just judge the hell out of people in the Navy? The military is so bad about it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, and because once again, we come up with the excuses of like the mission, speed, and, you know, just so many assumptions, you know, like you should just know better. You should just know, right? Or I don't have time for this. I don't have time to explain it.
Yeah.
You know, I've got 10 other people that are on board and I've got this one individual that's just dead weight. So it's just easier, more convenient as a leader to just cut the dead weight. You know, so often what do? You go to the 2 or 3 rock stars and you just overload them, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, I can always count on them, so I'll just keep loading on them.
It was me and 2 other guys, and we basically just 3 people. We just broed out, were toxic as shit, and would also just like get all the work done.
Yeah.
Not like all of it, you know. Obviously, everybody did some work, but
No,
like,
but it's like that 20-80 rule, right?
yeah. But it was like, you know, John Maxwell, the servant leadership guy, something he said that I'm thinking about differently in this moment was like, part of being a servant leader or a high level leader is walking slowly through the crowd, impacting is what he says. And the walking slowly thing, I always thought of that, you know, as like, oh, that's what I should do. I'll just do that. But now in this moment, I'm like, you know what? Walking slowly might be representative, or at least I perceive it to be right now, as changing your perception intentionally or being on a slightly different wavelength than the people who are like hustle, so that you can see things for what they really are and take an honest look.
100%.
And
just like speeding down the highway, man.
I mean,
how are you going to be able to enjoy the view if you're flying past everything?
I mean, I love speeding down the highway.
Well, I mean, you drive a lot and you got a fast car, so bless you, man. You know,
yeah.
Every weekend you're driving somewhere too. I was just thinking about that too with your Canton, Ohio shirt. Like every weekend, I don't know how many miles you rack up. You must be really good or have a good drive assist. You know,
I do have good drive
cruise
assist.
Control with all the gas and brake.
I also listen to Lane 8 mixtapes. They are 3.5 hours long, and it's just music flowing. This DJ is like hypnotic to me, and it takes you through an emotional ride. Dude, those mixtapes. I'll share one.
Lane
with you.
8.
Lane
you know,
8.
I was thinking about that this morning when I was thinking about what are we going to talk about. I was thinking about music.
Yeah.
And you know why? Because you and I have very interesting music taste, I think.
We do?
Yes. And because just recently, I think a week ago, I was listening to Great Dane.
Yeah? Yeah?
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, really.
Alpha Dog.
That's funny, dude.
Well, yeah, it's funny because you introduced that to me. So when you talk about movies, which I love, like my mom, we would just go to the movies all the time. So movie, cinephile, absolutely, right?
Cool, brother.
Absolutely. Like to me, I watch movies all day long. You know, we can go down the list of top movies, right? But music and being an audiophile, 1,000%. And to me, music.
We don't talk about this, brother.
I know.
We never talk about
I know. And this is the
we
fun.
Are now, sorry.
This is the fun human stuff too, right? Outside of the serious leadership stuff where it's like, I associate moments with music and people with music, you know? So when I listen to Lonely Island, I think of you. When I listen to Great Dane, I think of you. Like Diaper Money.
Yeah.
Anytime I listen to that, which I probably listen to it more often than I should.
We listened to that in the office quite a bit. That was like my favorite song for a few years.
Yes.
Dude, that was...
And forever and ever and ever when I hear that stuff. So that's why I love music, because to me, it's more than just the beat or harmony or, you know, how it makes you feel. But like when you can associate it with places, persons, and things, you know, and the first two being the most important, man. Like, so it's interesting that you talk about music and you're going to share it with me, because I love that. I love how many people I've met in life, you know, because I can think of a buddy of mine. I can think of him. I can picture him. I can't remember his name. And I remember we were going through, not Power School. What's after Power School? Prototype. At Prototype. And he's like, hey, 9 Inch Nails, listen to this album. Ooh. I'm like a rap guy growing up, right? So Wu-Tang and everything, and, you know, thought I was hood. Yeah. And then he's like, here, 9 Inch Nails. And I'm like, I remember some guy in high school wearing 9 Inch Nails, and I thought he was like, you know, white supremacy or something, right? And so he's like 9 Inch Nails. And I remember going, this is amazing. And now like but my music collection is so eclectic because, you know, of people I've met that are like, hey man, listen to this. So when you mentioned like, hey, listen to Lane 8, I was like, oh, that's awesome. Just one more, right, discography that I can be like, this is the Craig discography, right?
I have a playlist on, do you have Spotify?
Of course. I have them all.
Have you ever seen you have them all? Great. Good for you, man.
Well, I'm saying like I have Spotify. I had Tidal at one point, and
never heard of that.
Tidal's the Kanye West one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then there's obviously YouTube Music, and I like YouTube Music. Somebody else turned me on to that just because there was a little different vibe and flow on it. But Spotify, send it my way, brother.
Well, yeah, I have an ever-growing, what's it called? Definitive Craig. So egotistical, but it's my playlist, and I've been developing it since.
I have creative names for my playlist too, brother.
Very cool.
Yes. It's a must.
One of my closest friends gave me their Spotify family membership because we are family.
Yeah. I have a free spot if anybody needs it too, by the way. Because you get like 5.
Oh, bro. First person in the comments to ask for a Spotify.
There you go, man. If somebody needs a free Spotify, I'll hook you up.
Yeah, dude.
It's not being used.
What a gift, dude. Free, the music without ads. Anything without ads.
Please, yes.
Good God.
I know.
Don't waste my life with ads. Love capitalism. Great. It's done great things.
Right.
But God, my free time to be like, oh, you're going to work X amount of hours a week. Why don't you go home and let's throw more advertisements in your face. It's just such like it's just such a smack.
So,
like I hate it so much.
So one, that's first world problems.
It really is.
And that's
dude,
when you know you've arrived, right? When you're like, hey,
These
every
ads.
Netflix or Prime, you're like, I'm paying extra for no ads.
My
because,
commute.
Right. You know.
But the playlist, I've been making it since 2018 or 2016.
Yep.
It's been longer than that.
So
wait.
So what's it called?
Definitive Craig.
The Definitive Craig.
Or Definitive Craig. There's no the.
Okay, Definitive Craig.
Yeah.
And the basis of the playlist or songs that make the playlist is
any song that has spoken to me over the past X amount of years.
And what does that mean? Like one where you hear it and you're like, I need to repeat and listen to that like 5 times in a row?
And I just added, I've taken 1 or 2 off.
So how many songs are on it?
I'll tell you right now.
Perfect.
My Definitive Craig playlist has...
And 2018.
2016, I think.
Oh, shit. 10 years in the making.
Yeah.
When did you get on Spotify?
It's 22 hours of music. So it's actually not too much. And I actually haven't added too much to it recently. I'm trying to look up information on it. Whatever, I'm not going to do this. But it was like 2016.
So that's like maybe 400 songs or something?
Something like that, yeah. But I haven't been as good lately about adding music to it.
See, the other thing I do too, brother, just so that way my playlists don't get overcrowded, just not saying a tip or advice, but like every year.
Scrub it?
Not scrub it. January 1, I created a new playlist for the year.
That's cool.
So I have playlists that are 2023, 2024, 2025, but something that rings true. Like 2025 was the year of AI for me. So that's my playlist.
Is AI music?
I can't remember the name of it, but it says 2025 something AI.
Oh.
Just like they're a little fun, like poke at like what's going on in the world, and everybody's like worried about AI.
Oh, you're just taking a snapshot.
2026 is consistency trumps intensity. Is my 2026 playlist.
So it's music that you associate music with feelings and people.
So any music I hear new this year that, like you said, stirs my soul goes on the 2026.
That's cool.
So now I've started cataloging for the last 4 years my yearly experience with music that's newly discovered, or maybe things I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah.
And then it pops up in that year and I'm like, oh, this is an oldie but goodie. It goes on the playlist.
That's cool.
Yeah, man.
That playlist, it had its season. I think it's kind of ending, but I also have another one for poker parties. That one is added. I've added more to it recently.
Yeah.
But Lane 8, so that playlist is a day long. Listen to it during marathon training basically the whole time.
Oh, right on.
And then...
so the vibe, so what is the vibe? Just give me a little context while we're talking about it.
To my playlist?
Yeah, like because I know you say it's like for driving. For me, driving is... it can't be too upbeat, but it can't be too slow, right? Like to keep you engaged. 8. Yeah.
Lane 8 is, it varies. It goes from it's mostly EDM or some genre of EDM.
Okay.
It mixes
I dig that. I dig EDM.
It mixes in everything.
Yeah.
I am borderline obsessed with Lane 8 right now. I actually got turned onto it by my cousin, great friend of mine. God, Daniel Wan, great guy. Lives out west. He turned me on to Lane 8. I was listening to Odessa. That's a little more like upbeat, a little more like party-ish.
I know Odessa.
So I was listening to a lot of Odessa at the time. He started listening to Lane 8, and when I first started listening to it, I was like, oh, it's a little too slow for me. And now I listen to it just like, God, it just makes me feel things, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it, but like the 2025 winter playlist. Oh, this guy, his name's Daniel also, the artist, will go out in the wilderness with nobody around, out on the middle of a dock in a lake or whatever, and he'll just do a set that's like 3 hours long with nobody.
A DJ, right? Yeah.
Yep. And he's, I don't know how to say, he also runs...
Like he videos or just audio records?
Video and audio, but like he releases the audio on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
And because it's one song, it's free to listen to for 3 hours with no ads, which is great. But he does the This Never Happened label, which you don't go to his shows with a cell phone. They make you put it in a pouch. And like you can't get inside that pouch unless you leave the venue.
That's great. I think that's fantastic.
Hell yeah. So he's all about presence and living in now.
Yeah.
And, you know, or whatever that means. But part of his message is like, be here in the moment.
No.
And that music, what it does to my mind, it represents exactly that, which is like, I'm just so present. I mean, I have literally danced in the car like for 3 hours straight, just like moving around a little bit and just like really feeling this stuff.
I got to get a taste of this.
Oh, you do. Anybody who's listening, I actually shared it with people at work, you know, and it's just like, you know, I shared it with my management chat. So it's like my boss is just throwing in some music and be like, I'm not listening, you know, talk about a boundary. You'd be like, nope. You know, like, I'm not putting my camera on and I'm not listening to your janky music. Hate you, you know, like, that's not real. But like, you know, yeah, that's like another boundary example. But God, that music speaks to my soul, dude.
Right on.
Yeah, man. Dude, I love this.
I do too.
I love talking to you, brother.
Yeah. What do you think of the coffee, by the way?
So there's chai in this, yeah?
No.
Dude, it tastes like a chai latte.
A little bit. I mean, obviously there's milk,
Yeah.
fat-free.
There is
Fair life protein.
There is some type of fat because there is an oil in here.
Yep.
In that oil is butter?
Yep.
Yeah, butter.
Good
Talking
call.
about you're making bulletproof coffee, basically.
A little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Bulletproof coffee with good flavor.
There's ginger.
Ginger
and honey, some milk for the latte, and some butter.
This is legit, bro. Shout out to this. This is good.
It is.
I like it.
It took me a while to get to it. Like, it was a little bit of experimenting. So I'm a big ginger fan.
Yeah.
A while back, you know, like with teas and stuff, and I just started putting in like kind of everything almost.
Yeah.
And actually, you know, because also I like pineapple juice, and then I saw this pineapple juice that had ginger in it, and I tried it. I was like, oh, it's like a little spicy, a little kick, you know. And so now, and I was like, well, let me try it in my coffee, and I was like, okay, that's not too bad. So, yeah, 2 teaspoons, squirt of honey, some milk, and then shout out to Black Rifle. I like these shout outs we do. I was almost, the bag I gave you this morning, right? You know, like little gift of thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. And
dude, you brought the coffee. So shout out to you.
Yeah. Black Rifle Coffee.
Shout out to you shouting out Black Rifle, shouting out
sponsorship.
Yeah, you came here. This man woke up at 4 a.m., but you got here, you know, before the podcast started. And then you also brought coffee, and you brought Philip coffee. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You deserve it. You're worth it.
Thanks, man.
That's important to me.
I appreciate that, dude.
Absolutely.
Love you, man. Really do.
It's the small things, right? It's not the big things. It's the little things.
Yeah.
You know, like if I could, I'd like slide over something bigger than just a bag of coffee, but it's the little things I think that matter.
You give me your time, which is the
very valuable.
God, the most you can give somebody.
But see, I get plenty in return. See, that's the funny thing, right? Like when we talk about that, you know, the gestures and giving, and whether it's physical or, you know, time, space, opportunity, presence, that it's like, at the end of the day, if you give more than you think you should, it really comes back. Like the ROI on that is hard to explain. And I think that's why it's also difficult for people. So
that's that type of thing.
Yeah, man, it just triggered for me that mindset where, because also what do we want to do? We want to have transactional relationships where it's like, I give, but I don't ever get.
You're worried.
And the minute you say, well, I don't get, you've lost.
It's
yeah,
over.
you lost because now you're going to stop doing it, or you think it's a tit for tat, right? And you connect your service and your show up, right? Where it's like, you know, what you give just speaks to who you are. It's not about like what the result is of it, right?
Yeah. And you can be open in those moments too. How many times, like mid-giving, do you receive something simultaneously all the time?
Yeah.
But you're right. The second you start to focus on me, kind of going back to David Goggins again, he was like, people will obsess over what's my rotation, when's my off day, what should I cycle, which muscle group should I cycle which day. And he's like, dude, just get out there and do it. Right. I think giving is the same. I think doing what you're supposed to do is the same.
Yep.
Screw a plan. So I'm working on a huge project. Talk about doing things I shouldn't be doing or taking the wrong path. I've been super busy lately. However, I have not been prioritizing in moments of seeking comfort. And my partner in this project knows this. So, man, he's so full of grace. But like for the past like 3 weeks, I've been focusing on part of it, but not contributing to like the code, like the main part of the project.
Yep.
Much. But the most productive I've ever been on that project was with no guardrails, no project management, no fine-tuned like, management system.
Mm-hmm.
It was just do the thing, get in a flow state and do the thing.
Yeah.
So like, I think that the same is true of obviously David Goggins' whole, like, just get out there and move your body.
Yep.
And then also, giving.
Yep.
Is like, don't focus so much on the give and take. Don't focus. It's just, do you have the bandwidth, honestly?
Yeah.
And maybe if you overthink that, you'll be like, well, do I have the bandwidth? If you even have the ability to ask that question, you probably have some bandwidth.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's always an opportunity to seek a more honest approach to things. When it comes to giving especially,
Yeah.
if you're like, oh, I'm only going to give X amount, you're like, either I'm going to do something or I'm not going to do it. There's probably some middle ground. Yeah, kind of rambling, but...
No. I think this is good because you're on something, right? Because it's funny enough, I'm like trying to, once again, think of how I can value add to this because it's a great topic where it's like when you think about just the goal in mind, right? Instead of what it takes to get to the goal. And just as similar as like, oh, if I give, what do I get? Where you're thinking about what's the return. So like you said with the project, right? You're not thinking about, I need to finish it or I need to get to something. You're like, I'm in a flow state, right? Like you're in the weeds, but it's the path, it's the journey. And similar analogies I've heard too, when like we just talking about music, where you don't play a song to try to get to the end of it. You don't start a movie so you can get to the credits, right? You're not just trying to get it done.
It's the thing itself.
It's the freaking journey, man. You listen to the music because the journey it takes you on, like being present in the moment and enjoying it.
Dude, you're going to love that Lane 8 playlist.
Dude,
you're going to love that mixtape.
I'm excited about it. Like, yeah, let's not overhype it. So
please.
Just like you're saying with, being in projects or doing things or giving things, right? It's more of the act instead of the result.
Yeah.
And because when we focus on the results, then that's all we're worried about. Where like you talk about winner and loser mentality where, a loser is somebody who does just enough and says, what do I get now? Mm-hmm. And a winner is somebody who's grinding it out and feels like they're never doing enough. Right. And that person that grinds it out, does the uncomfortable thing, embraces, like David Goggins says, like embracing the action of just getting out there and doing it and not worrying about like, am I losing weight? Right. Am I getting fitter? And just be consistent in the grind and doing the thing of discomfort. And once again, I think we all know discomfort is the right answer. You can't perpetually live in a state of discomfort. You do have to take moments to reset, backtrack, make sure you're doing the right thing. But then you just get right back into it, and when your days of being in the discomfort outnumber the days of comfort, that scale will tip at the end of your journey. Because I told that to my daughter a while back and other young people, right? When I'm like, hey, do you want to party for 10 years and then have to work the rest of your life? Or do you want to grind for 10 years, do the uncomfortable thing, don't party, and then enjoy the rest of your life? Everybody knows the right answer when you spell it out like that, but who does it? Who executes it? Hey, here's some free schooling through the military. You just have to sign up and show up and put in some effort. And less than 40% take advantage of free education.
Yeah. It's wild.
It is wild how much we so easily talk ourselves into the comfort, talk ourselves into, we know what the right answer is. We know the right answer. It's math. It's easy. 1 + 1 = 2. And yet we don't want to do it.
Yeah. I think it was like 6 or 7 years ago on Rogan, I heard a story about somebody who, so this is going to touch on the exact opposite thing, which is the grind culture or
there can be an unhealthy variant to everything.
But basically it was somebody who was, I'll use my one objectively for the entire podcast. I'm going to say it.
This is your last one?
Have I said it 600 other times?
Well, you stopped earlier midstream just to realize you were catching yourself saying it too often.
Well, I didn't say it then. Okay. This is the one time. I think it's the first time I've said it in actual use.
Oh, you stopped yourself from saying it that one time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're one objectively.
I'm not going to say it. Nah, this person had accomplished 1 billion things in their lifetime. Mm-hmm. their list of accomplishments just was as long as the day is long or whatever. And then they died, and on their deathbed, apparently their last words were so much wasted time. So the one thing is, dude, if you're perpetually unhappy, maybe you die perpetually unhappy.
Ooh.
So is it the right answer? And I think this is what everybody is kind of latching onto, is this idea of like, there's a person on TV who is, I'm picturing a million guys right now.
Right.
I know one of them. I won't even say it. But people who are like grind,
Entrepreneur, start my own business, be my own boss,
be super
millionaire
ripped,
overnight,
get all the chicks, all that crap, like, and it's like, is this person actually okay? Are they actually healthy? Like, and I think the public starts to realize that might end in an outcome that is not ideal. And they just start to see that pattern. And I'm not trying to associate with that guy who died. I'm not saying he's unhappy. It's just like, maybe if your mentality is never enough, well, then maybe it's never enough, dude.
That's true.
When are you going to flip that switch? So like, I think it does. This is the thing. This is hard because the more nuance you look at life with, it can be paralyzing. So like, if you start to like really overanalyze life to like find the happy medium between two extremes, now you're just wasting time,
Well,
so like, so what do you do? How do you do this, man? How do you go through life doing the right thing, or
Well, we talked about it episode 1. That was one of the questions we brought up of like, how do you know you're on the right path? Like when we talked about like careers and what you're going to do with your life, and how do you know you're pursuing the right thing? And it's tricky. You're absolutely right. But part of it is just doing it, right? Like we would have never thought, 12, 13-year-old versions of ourselves were like, I want to be in the Navy as a nuclear engineer, and I want to shim the control rods, right? Like you didn't dream that up. No. You just did the thing. You showed up. And then eventually, like you said,
it became the thing.
When you spoke about it, where you're like, man, you had that moment where you're like, I love this shit. I dig it.
Yeah.
Right. And once again, right. Nobody has that dream of being a nuke ET, out to sea, away from friends and family, with a bunch of other people randomly sleeping in, cramped quarters and bunks. Yeah. So, but I think it's a matter of, you're right. It is tricky, but you just got to do the thing. And the other thing that you kind of spoke to on that grind mentality, where, you have unhealthy variance and in parallel, right? Water is universally good for you, but you can drink too much to the point that it'll kill you. Anything can be poison if you make it so, to a degree with excess. But also, what's your why? Which is what we spoke about in episode 1 too, where it's like, what intrinsically is motivating you? Because extrinsic motivators, they get exhausted real quick when it's, about the car and the things and the jewelry and the money, and status, right? Those things extrinsically, they will run out real quick. And then you see these celebrities that we judge where they're like, we're like, oh, you have millions and you have, status and fame. Why are you unhappy? Why does a guy like Robin Williams, so accomplished and so admired, and you look at his films and you're like, that dude is a world-class actor. Like I think of films like Good Will Hunting, and I'm like, that, that movie, like we talk about, cinephile, I could watch that movie over and over again because it just moves your soul, and his acting in it. But he took his life. And so these extrinsic things, when internally, right, we don't find the thing that moves us. And so to me, when you talk about the grind and the hustle mentality, it can be toxic when why are you doing it?
I think my answer for myself is just whatever that, why are you doing it? When you identify what that thing is, you just need to make sure you introduce some of that into the present. Like for me, it's doing this with you. It's driving like I'm free occasionally.
Yeah.
It's taking a quick trip, or it's spending a little intentional time with my wife. It's just introducing in the present that thing that you perceive to be ideal in the future. My dad, again, I brought him a bike because he's doing a lot. His life is
like a bicycle.
I brought him a bike.
Yeah, you said bike. Sometimes people call motorcycles bikes.
I've never ridden one.
A motorcycle?
No, never in my life.
Would you ever?
Yeah, sure, dude. But like,
not on your bucket list.
Nah, because the stakes, like, the learning curve. I mean, I'm speaking from ignorance, but to me, it's just like the risk reward.
Oh yeah, it's not really worth it. I've known too many people that have died on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
You know what? We talked about suicide in the first episode.
Yeah.
I've lost more friends in the military to motorcycles. I think I've lost like 4 people.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. 2 of my friends committed suicide. 4 people died on motorcycles.
Wow.
I know.
Dude.
So risk versus reward. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you bought, let me get you back.
I just don't see it.
Yeah. So you bought your dad a bicycle.
Exactly. I brought him a bike, and it's because I think in his perfect world, when life circumstances are different, I think he would see himself riding a bike quite often.
Yeah.
But he doesn't now because he doesn't have the time or doesn't have the life circumstances that really represent that.
Right.
So it's just kind of a bid to be like, A, improve your health while you're here so you can be here longer.
Yeah.
But then B, it was like introduce a little bit of that ideal world of yours into the present.
Yeah.
So that you can be satisfied with your life as is while also still seeking something better.
And there's some things that you said here too. One, I have one more question.
Yeah, please.
Was it a road bike or like a mountain bike or shocks?
It's a Jamis or Jamis, it's a road bike.
Road
mostly,
bike.
Yeah.
I like road bikes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like them more than mountain bikes or anything with shocks, but that's dope.
My
Good man.
My bike has shocks upstairs. My new bike. I feel the need to own the microphone right now, to take control. I don't know why.
How so?
I just want to say things. I don't know. I just feel like I need to speak more.
You need a podium right now?
Yeah.
Do you want to push this up?
But I have nothing to say. Well, the thing I was going to talk about is mountain biking. No, I guess to draw the whole point home is like, I think you should seek the thing that you want, put it in the present as much as you possibly can, because that'll make you honest.
Right.
So the thing about these people, these male, masculine, whatever, the toxic male culture, whatever, the grind culture, the hustle culture, is I think the people, like a politician, over time, the public is like, I can't really put my finger on it, but that's not honest.
Yep.
That's not real.
Yes.
And I think
there's something phony about it.
Right. So what you could do with yourself is give yourself a little taste of that thing that you really want.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's going to have you in the moment be like, do I want more of this thing?
Yeah.
Yes. Pursue. Do I want less of this thing? Maybe pivot. But like, if you keep putting this life on a pedestal in some magical world that's like 3 or 4 years or 5 years away, you'll never be able to pivot on if that's really A, possible, B, what you actually want, or C, I don't have a C, but I just felt like saying A, B, and C.
Let me put in a C, yeah, because 3 options is always better than 2.
Okay.
Because the thing that you alluded to, right, like being passionate about what you do, like when you founded in the military,
Yeah.
and then really realizing how you can leverage that into what you're doing now, right? Like you're in operations because we did operations, you know, and it's true to our soul that we excel at it. And it can't be like, once again, when I was younger, I wanted to be a fighter pilot. I wanted to be Tom Cruise, right? Like because my dad was in the military, he'd take me to air shows.
Yeah.
And so whenever we lived on military bases, very often we would go to air shows and I'd be like, I would love to fly one of those one day, right? You know, and that was always my dream, to be a fighter pilot in an F-14 Tomcat. But
have you flown? Have you flown a plane?
No.
Man.
I know.
You should.
I know. But I've ridden a motorcycle before.
Yeah.
And I've dumped him before.
Really?
And I told Sarah that if she ever passed away, I would get a motorcycle. But until that day, I wouldn't get a motorcycle because risk versus reward.
Yeah.
I have less to lose if she's not here.
Yeah.
But morbid things aside, talking about where you doing your passion, doing your thing, finding it, like just taking steps forward to try to figure out, like you said, what feels right, what feels wrong. But also then now in your career path, being successful, right? Elevating yourself. Like we both are very successful, right? In where we've come through the military and now in the civilian sector, that you're in the position you can buy your dad a bike. You know, you wanted to do something for him because you felt not the need to just give, but like give back because you saw an emotional connection to him, right? Like that correlation. And just like in here with our podcast, and you're like, I want to upgrade these mics. It wasn't a matter of could I, it was a matter of do I want to?
I'm going to put my will on the world.
Yeah. And not saying like you broke the bank or anything like that. Like, you know, this is still very humble studio, if you will. But
Yeah.
like going out and getting all these mics last second when we had to get them. Well, we had to get them. You had to get them for our podcast, and so kind of tying back to, it's okay to not be selfish in that regards, but know that some of the other material rewards that aren't the real purpose, but they afford you the opportunity to do nice things. Or like, once again, we love this, and this doesn't happen for free. Like, you did have to make investment into it and have the opportunity to do it because of I don't want to say like you and me are like grind mentality, but we've chosen discomfort to get where we are
at times.
Yeah. If we had taken the easy path, would we be able to do this? Would you be able to get your dad a bike?
If I had to label myself, no, I would not. I still, though, in this current state of my life, able to drop, money on these mics, whatever. Mm-hmm. I still would label myself. This is the self-judgment, grind mentality. This is maybe the harmful part of it that a lot of people would not agree with, but I still consider myself as a comfort-seeking person more than I should be.
Why?
Because I go through, and I don't think this is bad, but I go through phases of procrastination and then hyperfixation, and I'll do it with.
Can I also throw in judgment?
Huh?
Judgment?
Self-judgment?
Yeah.
Not too much nowadays.
Okay, got it.
Honestly, I don't really judge myself too harshly.
Okay.
For the past 2.5 to 3 years, I don't judge myself too harshly.
Right.
I will look at myself and say things that might not be accurate representations of like what other people perceive or what reality is.
But just being open-minded to it.
Yeah, I'm just opening my mind to the idea that maybe I'm off kilter.
Mm-hmm.
I also realize that maybe I'm the one who's off kilter, but I still see myself going through these cycles of like hyperfixation, procrastination, not to a degree that's going to harm my career or anybody else necessarily.
Right.
But to a degree that maybe in a perfect world, for what I define as perfect, I would be slightly different. And I'll still attack things. It's like a lion. This is the good thing about it, is I'll attack a project like a lion and I'll go hard.
Yeah.
And I'll probably provide a better product than 99% of other people.
Mm-hmm.
If I find value in like those, if it's like, do I have the time? Well, I'll make the time. So it's like, is this thing important?
Yep.
And do I actually believe in it?
Mm-hmm.
And am I able to like actuate on this thing? If those three things line up, I'll just attack it and I'll go crazy on it, and then I'll provide some insane value. There's a couple of projects at work people would know, who know, if you know, I'll be like, I'll just throw everything I have, all my tools at my disposal at this thing.
Yep.
And somebody will be like, holy crap, thanks, man.
Yep.
And I'll be like, I thought this was important,
Right.
But my point is, I still see myself as like seeking comfort mainly, but yet here I am. I'm flawed. I guess like if I'm flawed, and I'm not trying to bag on myself. I appreciate you trying to like advocate for me and trying to have me advocate for myself. But like my point, my whole point is, you don't have to be perfect in order to act on the world and then to get, money or the means to like act back. These microphones for somebody else could represent a $40 investment. Those lanyard mics, the ones you have are pretty damn nice. You sounded pretty good last podcast.
Right.
My point is, the gap between you and doing what you want doesn't have to be, mad money.
Right.
It can be just like you spending your money on things that actually matter to you.
Yes.
Or represent your hobbies that matter to you.
Right. Value outside of the dollars on it.
God, how many times do people just buy something to buy something, or just to get that consumerism spike?
Oh, right.
I I wonder why.
The immediate high, the gratification.
Is it because we're advertised to 24/7? I wonder why.
I know.
But man, if you just maybe think about like, oh, what do I want my life to look like? To come full circle, whatever. What do I want my life to look like? What's this ideal future life that I have in 5 years?
Yeah.
Instead of waiting 5 years, identify one of those things that's in your future life and say, can I bring this to the now?
Mm-hmm.
And then spend your capital on making that real right now. Even if it's only $20, $40, whatever. the amount of money we waste, the amount of time we waste, the amount of disconnect with what reality is because we idealize some like life in the future when you should be trying to live that life in the present. I know I'm speaking strongly on this, but I'm doing it thankfully. Thank God I'm doing it right now. This project I'm talking about, I won't talk too much about it because...
Yeah, I didn't ask because it sounds very secretive, hush-hush. I dig it.
It is kind of right now.
Yeah.
But, and I showed it to you a little bit.
It's the cure to cancer. I know it is.
I wish, dude. That'd be so cool. God, if only.
I know.
Yeah, we could talk about that another... Dude, I'm actually going to message my coworker because I do my safety topic every day at 7:30. I'm going to message him here shortly and be like, you know, if our thing isn't naturally over by then, I'm just going to be like, hey, man, can you cover it for the day?
Right on.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
But, oh, man, help me pick up where I left off. Yes, if you can bring that future
value.
thing to the project represents my ideal career tied into the present. It's marrying who I am really in this moment with an ideal future and drawing those two things together to add maximum value.
Okay, so absolutely, man, because
you
know, in your transparency and honesty and self-reflection of like the person you were and your critique of that individual where it's like, I want the car, I want the fancy thing, right? Look at me, look what I got, right? Compared to the things you just listed, right? When you're talking about when you go knee deep into a project, right? Like all in, we'll say, right? You listed all of these intrinsic things, right? Which are so much more powerful. And that's why, like, I believe you when you're like, you know, I'm aligned with it in my values and beliefs. I see the value in it. You know, it's important. And then as soon as you hit the 3 requirements internally, it's like, go, go, go. Like the best version of Craig shows up and like the best work comes out.
Yeah.
And that's phenomenal, right? And I think that's good because maybe in the moments when by your standards, you think you're seeking comfort, and by most they'd be like, no way, that's still discomfort for somebody else, right? But in your own self-analysis, right, where your bar is higher as it should be as we continue to push ourselves and elevate ourselves. So biggest cheerleader, but also biggest critic, where your areas that you think of as comfort, you know, are maybe true compared to what you can do when you really want to get discomfort, but truly get into your flow state and pour into something to deliver something awesome. I think that's fantastic, man.
Thanks, dude. Thank you.
That's inspiring to me. Like, that's the kind of stuff where I'm like, yeah, I want that. I want that where it's like, I hit the 3 requirements and then there's no stopping me.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of human being you have evolved into and will continue to evolve along your journey.
Yeah. And I, as a human would, I'm like, I worry that if I keep doing this podcast and keep speaking on these subjects, somebody would think that I'm that I'm out of touch with reality because I just picture the person who sits there and is like, would identify me as that toxic figure who's like talking about some ideal life, like that isn't in touch with the struggles of life. And shit, man, I can't overstate how hard life is and how difficult it is.
For everybody, including the millionaires, including the Robin Williams of the world that take their life because it is so hard.
Yeah.
Right. And,
God, what?
Like you talk about, like, you know, it's one of those ones where, you know, people talk about overnight success because we generalize and it's like, oh, you must be so lucky, or look at this overnight success. And, you know, somebody like Gary Vaynerchuk, where he's like, 20 years in the making and I'm an overnight success. You know, you didn't see the grind.
Yeah.
You know, people cheer you at 2 times in life, when you start the race and when you end the race. And everything in between is all on you. So like when you talk about like the judgment of somebody watching this and going like, you know, who do these 2 people think they are that, you know, they can speak gospel on life and leadership and what's good and bad or what their opinion is. Like, I know we've kind of put the subtext of, hey, you know, this is just our opinion and our experiences, which is all you really got to fall back to. Right.
Yeah. Mind you, I'm still in a rented basement right now in this moment.
Yeah. But for all the right reasons. You choose discomfort. Right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, just in full transparency, you're able to save, right? You're choosing the discomfort. When some people will be like, you're wasting money, but you're like, I'm actually saving money, right? So it's
That's
choosing your journey in your life. But to come back to that, right? Like I'll say that for the group here at large, right? Because I've said it a bunch of times and I believe it, like, because you said it, and I want to reinforce it, right? Those that mind do not matter, and those that matter do not mind. So, because like what you talked about too earlier, point that I was thinking about got planted and now it's growing. The comparison, you know, because like you said, in this day and age, with everything being so open, so transparent, social media, and you see the highlight reels, right? And all you see is what everybody else has. So your mind goes, well, I want what they have, or everybody else is doing well, or everybody else is doing great. Look how happy they are. They have X, Y, and Z. So that extrinsic motivator now becomes what you're driving for. And then you're doing it for all the wrong reasons because you're trying to replicate or chase something. Comparison is the thief of joy, right? For sure. And it's too easy because of, like you said, the ads and the subliminal messages. And, you know, as much as I love social media and all the things on there that are good and positive, but if you don't program your algorithm right, you know, if you don't thumb up the thing that's healthy, and, you know, you're thumbing up or hearting the thing that's unhealthy, right? Just in the moment of the gratification, the algorithm's going to say, oh, I got you, kid, you know? And it goes, I mean, this shit started a long time ago, you know, advertisements and just the manipulation, you know? And nowadays, right? I mean, they talk about the greatest commercial of all time, the Diamond ad, right? Diamonds were worthless until De Beers said, hey, you know, diamonds are forever. And that advertisement. And then it became like, oh, you need to spend 3 months of your salary on a diamond.
That's the guideline.
Or else do you really love her?
Dude, that's crazy.
Right.
Bro.
And ever since that moment, like I think it was in the 30s or 40s when they came out with that advertisement, now it's like the gold standard, right? Like how much did you spend on this diamond and how big is it? And it's like, for what? Yeah. How much more could you do with your life in your life journey instead of spend 20 grand on a rock?
This makes me think of the housing market is like the guidelines for income. The game will just get played, you know, obviously we're a little biased because we lived through 2008 and 9, but the whole like housing market objective value, how much of your paycheck should you be spending on your housing? Oh, no more than 20, no more than 30, more than 40%. Yep. How much should your down payment be? Now it's not realistic to do 20%.
Debt to income ratio.
It's all changing all the time. And your recommended down payment and all that's changing because like now nobody has 20%.
I know.
Because who can?
Yep. So it'll give you some PMI.
So the guidance just changes. So it's like diamonds. Like who has the audacity? You know, the strongest message or the strongest cult or the strongest ignorant thing comes not from the person who invented it, but from the person who listened to them and repeats it without knowledge. Somebody knew it was BS when they said it. Somebody was like, spend 3 months' salary on this rock. And then somebody else was like, spend 3 months' salary on the rock. And then the next person who repeats it becomes like more just like, oh yeah, obviously you spend 3 months' salary on the rock, you know, but like. Right.
And then a girl, you know, I say girl, she says, oh, I got engaged. First question. Show me the ring.
Show me the ring.
Show me the ring.
Show me the ring.
Don't not tell me about the guy. Show me the ring.
God, you know? What is that, dude? That is so jacked up, dude.
Okay, so another good one too that when I learned it, I thought this was so fascinating. You know, health culture, right? Which is great, but the 10,000 steps a day is complete BS. So during the Olympics in Japan, like during the 70s, this manufacturer of pedometers wanted to sell more, and seeing the Olympics coming, he put out this thing that said, oh, you know, medical studies show you should take 10,000 steps a day. And how best are you going to track that without a pedometer? So in order to sell his goods, made up the narrative that you should be getting 10,000 steps a day. There is no scientific fact that every human being should log 10,000 steps a day. Completely fabricated just for the sake of selling something.
Nice.
And now we all buy into it. How often have you heard people like, oh, you should get 10,000 steps a day? There's zero scientific fact behind it. You should be more active. Absolutely. If 10,000 steps, you know, which is actually a lot more than most people average, I think like 3,000 or 4,000 steps a day. It's something really sad. And, you know, we are sedentary creatures in our culture. But just things in life that become fabricated. But if enough people buy into it, enough people believe in it, right?
It becomes truth.
It becomes truth.
Yeah.
Just like when I hand you a piece of paper that has Benjamin Franklin on it, it's a piece of paper, but it's got value because we all believe in the value.
The bald guy with the long hair on the sides, who was scientific and a little quirky.
Yeah.
He's worth $100 worth of value.
Because we all buy into it.
Yeah.
If tomorrow we all said that this green stuff is worthless, it would be.
It's true, yeah. Dude, crypto, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Be like, this is funny. It's like, I would like the largest piece of meat you have. Okay. I'll prepare you this meat. What do you have in return? I have a picture of this guy with a full head of hair. No. Give me the picture of the bald guy with hair on the sides.
Yes.
Here's his picture. I will give you the meat. You know, like, that is the picture I need. You know, like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
I find currency so fascinating.
Yeah. And the fact that we removed it from something material. Well, that's like, that's a whole nother thing. It's like, really, what was gold ever worth?
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same freaking thing.
But it had utility. That's
Right.
the thing, is gold could be used in applications.
Yeah.
Like, we could use it for wiring and stuff like that, or for whatever. So it has value.
To a degree, yeah.
But exactly, to what degree, really?
It's like when if you want to put things in context, like of the universe, there's more diamonds, gold, platinum in the universe than there are trees. By that measure, trees should be more valuable than diamonds.
So this is, we mentioned it last podcast, but be valuable. God, if you just could stop being so obsessed with money. And it's so easy to say if you have enough, but God, just like, if you can just spend a little bit of your bandwidth outside of the hustle game that we're all part of. If anybody, God, if one person, and I'm begging for people to join this podcast at this point. I'm desperate. This is new. I want people to come on. I want to do this forever.
Okay. So not watch, but participate.
Yes.
Outstanding.
It's like, God, if you could just remove yourself from the grind that we all have to be a part of, especially on LinkedIn. Most of these people are employed.
Right.
You know, at least that in my network, or what I see is like, or employed.
Okay. So this is good. This is good.
God, if you could just take yourself away from the grind for a moment and ask yourself, like, what value can I provide the world?
Right.
And if you could just speak to it for a moment, or even just like bring it into existence of like, what value can I bring? Maybe giving yourself that space to focus on what brings value to the world, and stop focusing on the bald guy or the guy with a full head of hair. Andrew Jackson, you know, a little bit shady history to some, but God, he had a great head of hair. You know? But Benjamin Franklin was worth more. So anytime you start to think about your appearance and think about how worthless you are, just remember Ben Franklin, who was not a very attractive man, is worth $100. So my point is, like, God, if you could just remove yourself from that whole idea of what value is, remove yourself from currency, remove yourself from all
reassess it at least, right?
Just like really think, like, what is valuable,
right? And
then if you can take an honest look at yourself and be like, oh, this is why I'm valuable, because all of us are. God,
so I think this is good because we both are very much in alignment in things, but I feel like this whole podcast at times when we've come back to the subject of discomfort, and I'm like, you just need to do it, embrace the suck, and you're like, hey, you know, it's okay to tactical pause.
I wish we.
Like it's the balance. It's the dichotomy. It's the, you know, because I was thinking that same thing when it's like, because I was talking about like, oh, you have the ability to buy the bike and buy the mics and do the things, right? And give back to those that we care about for all the right reasons, not just because I can and I have money to spend, right, in the material things. But it's like, at the end of the day too, you can have both, right? You can have the money, you can have the car, right? Like what you talked about, you have a fantastic car, brother. I came here in my wife's car. It's beautiful. I bought it for her brand new a couple years ago when the opportunity arose, right? To do something nice for her, you know? And every time I drive it, I think about, man, I can't believe I'm in a position to do this for her, right? When in the past it was like, what's the budget, you know? And when I bought that for her, I was like, get whatever you want, right? And I think you've done the same thing for Carrie too, right? Just in the parallels. But it's like, you can have both, right? You can pursue the things that give us joy in life and create joy for others and make us feel a little validated in the hustle and the grind for all the right reasons, right? And I think it's at the end of the day when people don't do it for those internal reasons and intrinsically, you know, that bring value. And you spoke on that as well too, of like what really adds value. I love it.
Thanks, man.
I like the just, you can have it all. You really can, but you got to become the kind of person that can balance it out appropriately. And some of that comes with experiences. Some of that comes with time. You got to definitely get some of the scars and calluses, you know, but truthfully, we've been around the block. We've had great experiences. So if you listen to this damn podcast And if something we say resonates or something you go, I never experienced that, but I can pull that away so I don't have to get the scar myself. That is value add for what we're doing here and just rambling at times. But I think for all the right reasons and the reasons why we do, like you said, when we walk away from our conversations, if we've gained nothing else, we just feel better about our experiences and each other and what we're doing. There's never a time we walk away from just talking to each other and we go, that sucks. I don't ever want to do it again. And that's value add,
Forgive my distractedness I'm trying to get somebody to cover my safety topic this morning for me while we chat.
Yeah.
It is value add, man.
Multitask.
Yeah, which isn't real.
Yeah, no, my phone's been vibrating, so my watch has been vibrating, and I'll do the thing now too where I
please do
tit for tat just to make sure nobody's died.
I'm gonna steal more of your coffee.
Please, yeah, take it. Oh, this one. Yeah, might be cold now, but just take it all. I don't need it.
I don't need it either, dude.
Yeah, you do.
I guess I do.
Go for it, brother.
What time did you go to sleep?
10 o'clock.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and it's funny. Me and my wife were talking because, like I said, we had a very, very eventful weekend, and that's putting it mildly. Like I can't adequately assess the severity of the conversations we had. At a very high marital status, and so after all of that, last night we were still talking because it's we were digesting the aftermath of it all.
Okay.
And it is fantastic. Like, it's one of those ones where like you really to become the better version of yourself is very uncomfortable because to do the thing you could never do, you have to become a new version of yourself
and do something you've never done. Yeah.
Right. And to become a new version of yourself, the old version of yourself has to die. And that's really hard for people. So when you talk about discomfort, right, and becoming a better version of yourself, I think that's also part of it too, where it's like we have trouble letting go of who we are, even maybe in the moment. Because in reality, to become that new, better version of yourself, that present or old version of yourself has to die. You have to be comfortable with bearing that part of you that doesn't add value going forward.
Do you want to argue for fun?
We do that all the time, so let's.
When you say the old part of yourself has to die.
Yeah.
What do you do, man? You wake up and go, oh, the old part of me doesn't exist. That's not real. Like, is it? Don't you evolve over time? Doesn't part of you and you don't like.
Let me ask you this. Are you the same person that you were when you were born?
No.
Like materially?
No, not
Are you
at
the
all.
same person you were 10 years ago?
No.
Materially.
Cells regenerate every
absolutely.
X amount of
I mean, it's fascinating to think about the fact that at a molecular level, you are a completely new human being.
Yeah, you also still are the same genetically. Your genetic code's the same. Your DNA is the same.
You can rewire that to a degree.
Yeah. I mean, now we're not going to get into medical shit because
I know.
we don't know.
But once again, I challenge you in the default where people say, well, that's just how I was raised. Or, my mom and dad are like this, so that's how I am. So the genetic thing I push back on because I think it's an easy default for people to say, well, it's just in my genes.
The old you has to die. Yeah, dude. People say
okay,
that's a
so
cop-out.
you challenged me, and I love that too. Like I know
I haven't challenged you yet, dude.
No, you challenged me on how do you do that, right? How do you wake up and bury your old self, right?
Yeah.
Because you're right. It can be when I say something like that, and somebody's like, well, I don't even know what that means. Like, how do you do that? But the reality is, it's embracing the discomfort, right? When you're like, you say to yourself, I'm not a gym person. You look in the mirror. And you go, I haven't worked out or lifted weights or exercised in 10 years. Maybe I'm a little overweight, but if anything, I'm just out of shape.
Yeah.
Right? I go up and down a set of flight of stairs and I'm winded. These little signs of us that go, and then you say, when's the last time I went to the gym or put on some shoes and just went for a real walk, of like 5 miles or something, which is about 10,000 steps, by the way. So you're not a gym person. And that person will die if by discipline and habit and embracing the discomfort, you now build the habit of, I am a gym person. Right?
Fair.
It's doing the thing you don't want to do so then you can do the thing you want to do, right? If you want to live a healthy, productive life, you've got to become a healthy individual that loves and cares about yourself. And I believe in self-worth and self-love in the highest form of eating right and taking care of yourself. So for me, when you don't work out, it's because you don't love yourself enough. And so to hopefully answer your question to a degree, right? And challenging like, well, how do you bury the old person? The person
You have to adopt the new person first.
You have to develop the habits and the discipline, right?
Yeah.
When you're born, okay. I once again, I have tons of quotes and I love them because they motivate me and I digest them for all the right reasons for a positive mindset. It's like when you're born, you look like your mom and dad. And when you die, you look like your decisions.
That's good. That's good. But you probably still look a little bit like your mom and dad, dude.
You got me.
Yeah.
But at the core of it, right? It's true.
Dude, that quote landed so hard, and I'm like, well, you still look like your mom and dad. Like, my bad, homie.
No. It's,
Let me get confirmation, or else I won't be able to forgive myself. Oh, somebody hooked me up. Got it. Sweet.
who do we owe a shout out to on the podcast now?
Who gave me the Chaz Chase? Gave me the salute. Said, I got you covered for safety.
American hero there, Chaz.
That's right. My partner, my peer did not. Super responsive usually on all channels, but did not.
Okay.
But we're covered. If my team can't lead itself on a phone call for one day,
Yeah.
then I am broken.
Yes.
Then I have made a mistake.
You have.
Now, if you use that excuse every day, then it becomes dishonest.
Are you the same Craig you were 10 years ago? Not, I know I was talking about physical, but mentally, right?
A lot of ways, yeah. Like when you were talking about your Navy, like
You really said on this thing where like certain things you just can't change, I think, or they just inherently are always there.
No, it's because I'm arguing with you. I'm taking this stance of argument.
Okay.
Like, so that's part of it. But
Right.
the whole other thing is like that part of you in the Navy that you were not as, you value, I'm just going to say you valued yourself less in those days or didn't think
Right.
you were killing it.
Oh,
Whatever.
of course.
But dude, what you were saying to your peers and when you talked about, hey, have you taken the moment to like realize what's going on with
Right.
that human being?
Yeah.
That is a shining example of like the best part of you now represented back then. So there's a core part of me that has been the same since like high school. And
In what way?
this like resilience. There's part of me
You
when I
didn't
was
build
in
it
school.
or foster it?
Well, it's something that happened through conditioning, and maybe it's partially.
Because now we're talking about like nature versus nurture.
Hell yeah. And this is part of me that maybe was developed with genetics, and it might have been nature nurture. I don't really know what the thing was.
Right.
But I just knew, due to my life circumstances in high school, I had a life-changing experience. I'll just say somebody was being highly abusive to me in a way.
Yep.
And there was another person who was, I would consider or the world would consider kind of meek and humble and soft-spoken.
Mm-hmm.
They pulled me aside in a pivotal part of my life when I was a freshman in high school, I think. There was an event. This person observed the event, pulled me to the side, and said, that person, that abusive person, never fucking listen to them. Never listen to that person. And that was like a moment of resilience. In that moment, I kind of accepted like, oh, this person is reaching into my life, speaking raw truth, to never listen to the abuse or to fight against it.
Mm-hmm.
There's this like, in that moment was born like this like rebellious, kind of like resiliency, this fight against injustice or fight against untruth, fight against something that's wrong.
Yeah.
And that part of me,
Okay,
I've
that's good.
held on to that ever since then. And I've tried to, that whole view will get you into jail or get you into like, it could lead to horrible places.
Mm-hmm.
But there's part of that view that I think is correct, or it is core to who I am.
Right. No.
And I will append all these other things onto it. But it's like a tree. I now have that view as like a core part of myself, or one of the core parts of myself.
No, of course.
And I have since then changed a lot to be almost completely different. But I just attach everything to that, and it has evolved in itself.
Yeah.
So the way that I think of it, or like, to argue with you or whatever.
No, you're not arguing. Actually, no, I see your perspective now.
Is like the part of you that dies.
Right.
Has to die organically or honestly, or maybe not. Maybe the habit does let that part die.
Right.
But like my point is I'm not a totally different person. There is part of me.
Yeah, that's where I like what you're saying, because it is challenging the perspective, because sometimes when you say things that are so either linear or black and white, or, you know, one sentence thing, right? Of like, oh, to become a new you, the old person has to die, right? But it's not like you spoke to resiliency. That is something you want in you, right? That's something you wouldn't say, hey, I want to be less resilient, so I need the old resilient Craig to die, right? So I like it because the value add is challenging me on just saying like one thing, and you're like, well, does everything have to die? And it's good, because I want to be black and white and say no. Like, if there are certain things at an early age or later, right? And it's phenomenal that at such an early age you developed a core attribute that is value add and would help you through life.
Now, in hindsight, if I saw that to be wrong or not valuable, I maybe would cut it off eventually.
Right. And that's what I, you know, just to, you know, rephrase or articulate a little better, right? When there's something else that's a better version of you, or, you know, like I said, like, you know, being unfit is unhealthy.
Yeah.
So that version of you that you are needs to die.
Yeah.
But if resiliency, right? You know, caring, right? Nobody would ever be like, oh, you know, you're too caring. That needs to change. You know, unless it's unhealthy, of course. But like, yeah, you know, to me, being black and white, not just everything about you needs to die and then you become a new, you know, phoenix from the ashes. It's a matter of what in you needs to change, embracing the discomfort, right? And realizing that part, just that part,
that narrative
may need to die.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Because I think that's the part where I'm saying, like, sometimes with the discomfort in life where we're hesitant to jump in or do the things that we've never done before. Like, once again, I'm big, fat, and out of shape. Getting to the gym, like, that could feel like climbing Mount Everest, because I'm going to go in there, feel ashamed, get on the treadmill for 2 minutes, be winded. Everybody around me, which isn't true, but mentally we go, everybody around me is judging me because what's he doing here? He'll never show up again. He's only been on the treadmill 2 minutes. He's sweating and dying, right? And
the most people will do is notice you for like 1 second and then look away.
Right.
You know,
we always in our heads universally think people are thinking about us more than they really are.
Yeah.
You know? So thank you for challenging me.
Oh, I mean, it was just for the sake of doing it. I think what you're saying is maybe the magic of this thing is seeking new conversation or honesty. We're guilty of being human, and, you know, we are also employed and we're stuck in life circumstances to some extent. So we're going to repeat things. Yeah. We're going to say quotes. But I think what you and I can do, and what is the gift, is digging into those things that seem very straightforward, and trying to explore, like, what is a closer representation of reality for people. So yeah, man, I think that's what I was trying to do mainly, is just to, like, explore what does that whole dying to a thing look like.
No, articulate it, right? Like, be more open and transparent, not only in the fact of, like, what does that mean to you, but also, does it have to be everything? Can there be gaps in it, which is okay, right? In the human experience. Because something else too that I was just thinking right now, and everything we've kind of led up to this point, some of the things where I kind of jumped in on you to say, like, well, what about this? What about that? Right? And some of the questions is, for me, it's very early on because of things that I did where I had an excuse or reason not to do the discomfort thing. Yeah. And there's very little in my life now that I subscribe to where it's like, you can't change. Because too easy enough, we like kind of nature nurture, right? And I hear it all the time, you know, I was born that way, or it's in my genes, or my upbringing, or I could never do this because of, and these excuses that keep us in the comfort zone, keep us limited in our beliefs of what we're capable of as human beings. We talk about our potential, but we put a ceiling on it, and I cannot stand that, you know, at a human being existence level. These limiters we put on ourselves for no freaking reason, and we come up with either valid or
you, right? Like,
I mean,
if it bothers you,
that's exactly, like, right. How I live my life is not how I think everybody else should live their life. Yeah. But what gets me through my life is having the mentality of, like, we can be so much better, and we need to always continuously pursue that. So at the end of the day, we can say we gave it our all. You know, we lived the best version of ourselves. And that also requires you to become the best version of yourself, and no excuse, reason why, right? Like, once again, I don't have the time, or I don't have the money, I don't have the support, you know, and that excuse list just gets so long and I get so exhausted by it because I was one of those people making my own lists of why I couldn't.
Yeah. On the flip side though, do you think like you are like, I'm going to like reach in and can I be like a little more personal than maybe you'd be on camera?
Go for it, brother.
Like what do you think maybe that hard pivot that you took at some point in your life in terms of like, you know, tackling the obstacle, or you used to have limiting beliefs and now you just crush through that ceiling and you're just screaming through life and doing a great job, which you are, man.
Thank you.
But is there a chance that you might reach a point where you wish you would have stopped and smelled the roses a little more or done like...
That's a fantastic question you ask.
Yeah.
Because it can seem in the snippets and the moments and the things I share where it's like, you can definitely be like, are you not just appreciating it, right? Like you said.
Are you happy in the moment? Yeah. Are you finding that happiness along the way?
See, that's
like
the trick.
For real, that peace.
No, that's the thing too, that I think is hard to articulate.
Yeah.
And even outside of a story or a quote, it's hard to demonstrate.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I love that you asked that question, man, because it's true. It's true for a lot of folks where they maybe would go, damn, I am not smelling the roses. And with 100% conviction, I am, man. And you know, as much as I felt like leading up to it, I was good, but it was really when my mom passed away 3 years ago, when my whole world was like shattered. Because a lot of things I did was like, once again, to make her proud. And if I called her up and said, look what I did, or, you know, what do you think of this? And, you know, being a loving, supporting mother, always kind of having the right answer or giving the right guidance, if you will.
Yeah.
You know, and she would always, like, funny enough, every birthday, she would always find a way to talk about how proud she was of me, not in the big things, but in the little things along the way. And she's been on my journey, like the most consistent thing in my journey, right? Like any major milestone I had, you know, when you talk about graduating A school, power school, prototype, so funny enough, I was getting re-enlisted in the middle of the Mediterranean, but she happened to be living in Sicily at the time because she was working. My dad was stationed there, and and so she, you know, obviously she was there, but she had an opportunity because they were doing a VIP tour of the carrier. Wow. So she flew out to the Truman, all these people from the command there, because she was like part of the command as a civilian. So she was there at my re-enlistment oath. It was the weirdest, craziest timing ever. I'm in the Mediterranean. I wish my wife and family could be there, but my mom was freaking there at my re-enlistment on my carrier because she flew onto the deck and flew off as a part of a VIP tour. And she had to like finagle some things because she's like, oh, she heard about it. And she's like, that's my son's ship. I'm getting on that ship.
Wow, dude.
And yeah, so I have pictures of her throughout my entire military career in situations where you'd be like, how did your mom even participate in it, right? So coming back to like when she passed away and the same thing, it's like, what am I grinding it all out for? Like what, like this corporate ladder that I'm trying to climb and get, and, you know, accumulate, you know, and you think you're doing it for a lot of the right reasons, you know, intrinsically, but still there's some extrinsic things, right? And then it comes to a head where you're like you said, like, are you stopping to smell the roses? From that moment when I went into like the deepest type of depression because of her passing and being like, what's the point to the next thing I'm going to do because she won't be able to celebrate it with me, right? And yeah, man, from a vulnerable standpoint and you asking the question, absolutely. I've had this conversation with my wife because we've had some fights before since then. About? Just in general, about like life and like where we're going, what we're doing. Like I remember 2 years ago, she's like, I want to leave Virginia. She's like, I'm, you know, we're doing renos on the house. She's over it. She's like, I'm tired of like living in renovation. When will it ever end? And when we do a renovation, of course, things go wrong. So you're like, when you DIY it and you don't know what you're doing and something doesn't go right and you have a setback and it's like time, money, and energy, effort. And she's like, I just want to leave the house. I want to leave Virginia. Let's go somewhere else, fresh start, right? Yeah. And me, I'm like pushing back on that, you know, at the time to being like, this is, you know, scary. Are we running away from things? What are we doing? And so just in transparency, right? Like, boom, fight, right? That's an easy fight to being like, I want to do this. I don't want to do that, you know? Yeah. And then in those moments of fighting, I can still truthfully, go to sleep soundly and wake up the next day knowing like it's unresolved and there's still conflict there, you know, when you're not talking or kind of ignoring each other, but still wake up and being like, today's a beautiful day. I'm alive and love it. So I say that because I can be in some of the nastiest, dirtiest situations personally, you know, using my wife as a highlight of like a real example where that's like the biggest stressor in my life at times. Like for anybody that's been in a marriage, right? When you and your significant other, your life partner are not on the same page and how uncomfortable that can be compared to anything else.
Jarring.
And you can still go, I just enjoyed the greatest cup of coffee. You know, you message or text me and I message back and I'm like, I'm so lucky to have Craig as a friend in my life. Yeah. Like that is smelling the roses, right? To being like, out of all the other things that still matter to me, but are of issue or strife, and go, man, I drove to work in my car. That's nice. And I love it. I have a job that's great. And I get to interact with people and, you know, breathe fresh air. Like to me, you know, just breathing. Yeah. You know, there's so many people that today when they woke up was their last day. And having that perspective, because for my mom, it was real. One day, you know, call me out of the blue. I'm in the ER. 2 hours later, my sister's calling me saying, she's gone. She's gone.
Wow, man. That's a lot.
That was a lot for me to unpack.
Dude,
that was definitely.
I appreciate you sharing though.
But you're right. See, that's, you know what, as a friend, you should have the ability to challenge somebody that you care about to say, hey man, you're grinding and that's great and all, but are you appreciating life? Are you appreciating the journey? Am I going to get to the end and being like, what did I do it all for? And that's what you just challenged, which I think is appropriate to saying like, when you get to the end, are you going to be happy that you did the grind? And in the moments of the grind, right? Did you just appreciate life?
Yeah, man. God, I could talk to you for hours, man. This is good stuff.
It is fun.
Thank you for sharing.
Because we talk to each other in ways I think other people see. I'm hoping people get a lot of value from what we do and whatever snippets of it. Like the first episode, when I listened to it, there was like 5 or 6 things I took away from it, listening to it again. Yeah. But I think if there's one freaking thing people watching this now or later take away from our conversation, is just creating that space to have somebody connect, but just say things outside of the norm. You know, it's like when you say hi to somebody, how's it going? Everything's great. You know, it's the repetition, it's the script, it's the life script to say, hey, how was your weekend? It wasn't too bad. Not long enough. You know, it's the script. And it's like, get off script. Yeah. Our conversations are very off script. They're very much like in the moment, being real. Like we don't talk to each other like we talk to anybody else. And so for me, the value add, if somebody sees this and goes, yeah, is there somebody else in life that I can just share my thoughts and opinions, you know, and make fun of Currency and Benjamin Franklin and Andrew Jackson and talk about music and then say, hey man, are you just stopping to smell the roses? Like that's phenomenal. Yeah. You know, not too many, nobody in the last year has come to me and saying, hey man, have you just stopped to smell the roses? Because that's a great freaking question.
Not only live on camera too.
No, it's great. You know, so to me, I'm like, if you don't have that Craig or that Rico or somebody in your life where you can be like elevating each other, having fun conversations, talking about music and movies, talking about life and death in the same breath, right? Because it's all part of the journey in life, and challenge each other to being like, hey man.
I ask the question for 2 reasons. One is to obviously just like check you.
Yep.
But the second one is to be inspired to see if there's maybe something I can do slightly different in my life while appreciating the roses. Like, because I'm asking to check you, but you know, being a human and being selfish to some extent, or I can only live my own life. I'm like, does he have something figured out that maybe I don't have, or something, you know, and vice versa. Like, yeah. That hurt my ego a little bit.
I know. It shouldn't have.
No, I know. But that thing of like being open.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, being open. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's like, I think coming from a place of like abuse or like having a weird environment, something I've learned a long time ago, but only really learned in the last couple of years, is that this is a self-judgment thing, is like you shouldn't judge yourself for having the coping mechanisms you used to grow up in the environment you lived in. However, they can result in manipulation, dishonesty with yourself, if not others. So don't judge yourself for being a product of your environment. But if it doesn't serve you anymore, then try to change it.
Yeah, don't be a victim of it either.
And in this, yeah, exactly. And in this world, oh, the cat, dude, he was locked in the bedroom.
That means
My
there's
wife
another
let him
creature
out.
astir. Probably.
Odie, don't do it. I'm gonna finish my thought.
Please,
Oh, danger!
because I have thoughts too.
Chords. Yeah. The thought is, if it doesn't serve you, and if it's not right, let it die, like you talked about earlier,
Mm-hmm.
and not out of judgment and hatred of self. Ginger, delicious.
Thank
But
you.
I got a little bit.
It's good for you. Anti-inflammatory.
But basically, yeah, it's let that part die and just like adapt the right mentality.
Yeah.
But don't judge yourself. Don't hate yourself for, who you were, because like you said, you start off like your parents, and you end up your decisions. I'm trying to validate everything you said, while I argue against it.
No, I appreciate it too, man.
It's to find the more nuanced approach.
It's the balance.
But it's a totally valid thing. You're not speaking anything.
Right.
That's a lie.
I mean, so thank you for saying that. Like
Yeah.
contextualizing it and kind of maybe packaging it up in a way that is balanced and fair.
The reason I mentioned my dad a few times is I've been hard on him lately.
For the right reasons or the wrong reasons.
For the right reasons, but
Okay.
he needs love just as much as he needs my hardcore, like
Oh,
my
dude.
discipline,
Yeah.
like all that stuff. And, realizing as an adult that he's just a man like myself, he needs love just like I need it. So like I mention him in kindness on the podcast because I think he deserves love and grace. And you deserve it too, meaning like I will argue the points.
Yep.
For the sake of trying to find nuance and trying to find truth. But that doesn't invalidate what you're saying. Obviously, you're saying things that are very true.
See, like to
And
me,
because we trust each other, we can say these things.
dude, no, like right now, like just the words you said,
Yeah.
like because I know it's true. Like you mean it from your core when you say you deserve love and grace. That hit me like a fucking punch to the face.
Oh, dude.
And I'm like, it's like when you can say, I don't deserve this guy and I absolutely deserve this guy in my life in the same breath. That's the balance. That's the dichotomy of it, right? Where it's like, I don't deserve Craig, but also
man.
I think I'm a pretty decent human being and I do deserve Craig, right? For him to say,
Yeah.
Rico, you deserve love and grace. Like that is powerful, man. Like that is real. Like that is why I want to get up fucking early in the morning, come here and have a 3-hour conversation with you. And if we BS about a bunch of other stuff nobody cares about, but once again,
Yeah.
you say that right there,
Yeah.
which you've never said to me before because I would remember.
Oh, man.
That's powerful. And I appreciate you for that. I was going to say some other stuff, but you took my breath away when you said you deserve love and grace. Because how many people don't want to hear that? Who doesn't deserve to hear that? I read something this weekend too that rung when you talked about your dad, where it's like, don't give somebody a speech when all they need is a hug.
Oh, dude.
And that's what you said about your dad, like, because
Yeah.
how often do people of me and you with our intelligence and our experiences, we want to solve problems.
Coach.
Yeah, somebody comes to you and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, let me fix that for you. And it's like, sometimes somebody just needs a hug. Sometimes somebody just needs to hear, you deserve love and grace. And you're like, I do deserve love and grace. Thank you. Yes. Why not? We all
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Man. Well, okay. Good conversation. Tears. I've got one or two.
Yeah.
Not as much as episode 1, but
Yeah.
crying a little bit. Dude, we're employed. You know that? We have to do our job at some point.
I have to leave here at some point.
What time? Well,
I have a
think-
meeting at 9, so I need to probably leave in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Like I have to be back at the site by 9.
All right.
So
Let's put a bow on it.
let's put a bow on it. I will. Yeah, it's funny. I was thinking of like closing thoughts because that is powerful what you just said. So that could be the finale. But you mentioned it, and I want to mention it again, right? Like Because you talked about like smelling the roses, right? And just taking a moment. But like David Goggins says, you know, you can't hurt me when you have that Teflon for all the right reasons, where things just slide off and you don't take it personal. You don't take offense. Your ego doesn't say, the judgment, the criticism, the comparisons. When you can become that resilient in life, which I love hearing you say, because I think that is what gets you through life, is being resilient, being able to get knocked down and get back up. But when you can, at the end of the day, say, you can't hurt me, as in life, as in external things, you enjoy life so much more. And when you challenge me on that, it's like, I embrace that fully. Every day I'm trying to live it, because you can't just like be like, I'm there and stop. You have to continuously live it and breathe it. But man, like David Goggins, you can't hurt me. I love it because it's true. For me in life, I enjoy it probably more than 99% because you can't hurt me.
Yeah, that's great. Yes. I won't even repeat what you said to any degree because there's so much value in it. Dude, another beautiful chat. Thank you, man. Thank you for being here. I will say, I'm looking for people to join.
Yes. I was going to say that too. Action item.
Yeah.
Because you said you went out on LinkedIn. And I was like, I need to do that. I need to go on LinkedIn and say, hey, who wants to be a part of this? Who wants to come on and just, BS with me and Craig?
I'm like 3 cameras set up. How do I do it? I'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. There's always a way. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Is literally using the litter box in the background. This is raw. This is real. I almost want to point a camera at him. But you know what? Bless his soul, he didn't come over here and pounce on the table. Yesterday, he was staring directly into that camera. Like, I was just ready for him to pop up on the table.
And jump at it?
And start, like, looking. No, he was
knock
just
it out?
Like, his whole face just is up in it, and the whole camera is just taken up with his face.
Okay.
Just like the whole thing. I was just ready for it to happen.
Yeah. Dude, thank you. This has been always well freaking worth it. Every time we got up early in the morning, because there was plenty of times we probably did not want to.
And sometimes we canceled.
And sometimes we canceled for sure. It's like, I did not sleep well. I don't feel well.
God, he canceled.
Yeah. So thank you. Yeah, this has been great, brother.
Yeah, man.
Episode 3. Can you believe it?
I can.
I know.
And I'm glad and satisfied, and I can't wait to do more.
Outstanding.
Yeah, if anybody has anything they want to talk about, reach out to us.
Yeah, make comments. You can. You left it open on the YouTube, right, to make comments?
Yeah, there's a live chat.
Because I made a comment, I think, on the last one for Chris Dove.
Yeah.
So.
All right. I'm going to hit this button, and I think we're
going to roll out.
All right, dude.
All right. Love y'all.